Hello, everybody, and welcome to ReelTok episode 68. Happy New Year's. Today is New Year's Day, so I hope 2024 is going to be a great one for all of you. 2023 was a down year. 2024 is your year, I promise. 2023 was a great year. We're just going to keep it rolling into 2024 with a good year ahead. Today, we got a solid episode, not super packed, but it's going to be a very fun one because we got a Ferrari review. All three of us have seen it. Of course, George is unable to join us this week, but he should be back next week, I believe. And then we're doing the ReelTok Awards nominations, so very hyped for these. We have 20 award categories. We all worked very hard this week. It took way longer than I expected to compile our nominee lists, to compile all four of our votes. So that even though George isn't here this week, all his nominations are very much into account for the nominations you're going to see today. We have 20 award categories. We're going to reveal those at the end of the episode today. And then in the description down below, you'll see the voting ballot for you to be able to submit your vote. If you're a Patreon member, you're going to get an extra weight for your voting. So the ballots we're going to send out, everyone's going to be able to see them on Twitter. You can vote for, Twitter and Instagram will show for the voting ballot for the ReelTok Awards. But for patrons, you're going to get a special voting ballot that's separate from those on Patreon. That's going to be a little more voting weight. So if you want to be a Patreon, go check it out in the links down below. Tons of awesome stuff there. We have a Discord that everyone loves. It's super, super active. Do watch-alongs in there for movies. We do movie raffles where we all suggest each other movies to watch. I'm a little behind on mine because I've been just trying to cram in all these 2023 releases at the end of the year. But ton of fun in the Discord. So go check that out to get some more voting weight on the ReelTok Awards, because we're going to be combining our votes as hosts, the audience votes in terms of all our social media, as well as our patrons are going to be ultimately who's voting on these nominees. We're going to reveal later today. But with that being said, let's dive into the episode. We got Ferrari and ReelTok nominations. How we've been doing, Seth? Happy New Year, even though I know it's December 30th for us, but how's it going?
Yeah, good. Getting a bit like restless now because I kind of just want to be back working. You know what I mean? It feels like every day is a Sunday and I'm just like patiently waiting to do something again. But it's been nice having some time off. You know, I had a when was the last time we spoke?
6 days ago? Or maybe no, we did
before,
our review this week. I don't even know, man.
It's before Christmas last time we spoke. Had a nice Christmas, saw Anna's family, saw my family, had a chill one, watched a lot of films. Obviously, I'm sure we'll be going over that in what I've been watching, but it's nice having some time off now and again. Just looking forward to kind of getting back into the routine, mainly. But yeah, like pretty standard, nothing really much to go over.
Yeah, you guys do anything special for Christmas, or mostly just stayed put and just had a relaxing day?
Not really, because like I think I mentioned to you guys, like we do like on my mom's side of the family, we do like the big celebration there like a few weeks earlier. So we did that like 3 weeks ago, and then just saw Anna's side of the family, went to her dad's for Christmas dinner, which was nice. Saw her mom as well after, and then on Boxing Day, my mom came over here. We just watched some films all day. But yeah, nothing crazy, just a chill one, really.
So I know Christmas Day is called Boxing Day often around there. I've also heard Stephen's Day. Is that like what Irish people call it, or is that just a different thing? I've been hearing all different terms from across the world for what the actual
Stephen's Day is Saint Stephen's Day. I think that's another
even Stephen's Day, and you just praise Bean.
Yeah, I still believe Stephen's crazy. I think that's an Irish day. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is. My stepmom's Irish, so I probably should know that. I think it is. But yeah, but do you not call it Boxing Day? I thought you did.
Just Christmas.
No, but it's not Christmas though.
What day is Boxing Day?
26th.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we don't talk about Boxing Day.
That's like a big thing here, like Boxing Day, because it's like when like the football comes back on, when like everyone goes out and stuff like that. That's like a big thing here. A lot of people like prefer Boxing Day than Christmas Day, just because of how much goes back on and stuff and TV and shit like that. I mean, I'm not a football fan anymore, but it used to be a massive thing when I was. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, interesting. Ours is like once the 26th hits, we just enter the void of nothing into New Year's, and 26 is just kind of like a bummer of a day.
That's the 27th for us. That's where it really hits. It's just like a depressing wait for New Year's again. Yeah.
Cam, how was your Christmas? How was your week?
Week was great. Christmas was great, man. Having a kid during Christmas is just awesome. So much fun. He's yelling right now, so I'm not sure he's too happy about something. But Christmas was great. Very, very fun time. We went to like every family's house, like I said last week. So they just Bailey got everything. I got a Lego. building that right now.
Yeah, you told me right before we started what is that the R2D2? Nice.
Oh,
huge set.
I bet that was expensive. I had a look at some the other day, and it's crazy.
Sure. So shout out my mom for that. Love her dearly. Very much appreciate it because I love Legos. Even though
how many pieces is it? Does it say on it? Because I thought they say on like the thing how many pieces.
Yeah, I think it does. But
75,000.
75,000 or 7,500.
No, that's the number of the items. That's the number of the thing. I'm sure it is.
Okay, yeah. You're
That'd be
2,300.
Okay, yeah, that's more realistic.
Okay,
I was about to say I'm excited to see that R2D2 in 2032.
They're small pieces, so I didn't do the I don't know. Couldn't tell in my head.
I wanted to buy Have you guys seen the Rivendell, the Fellowship one, the Lord of the Rings one?
Yeah,
I wanted to buy that. It's like £500. I was like,
yeah, I believe it. They're not
crazy.
Yeah, so I got that. Very excited. I was up till like 2 a.m. Doing that last night, which was just idiotic. And now I'm very tired. I slept through my alarm, so we started this a little late.
Same.
But yeah, it was a great day. Bailey got a ball pit, and now he loves it. It's very fun. Yeah,
it's all set up now because you were talking about how many freaking.
Yeah, it's just it 1,000 was a a good amount. I was probably just 1,000, and we just thought it was 100. I don't know, but we were.
You should have recorded the episode in it.
Should have. You're not wrong. That would have been kind of fun, honestly. Cool. But yeah, he loves it, which is awesome because he's not at the age where he necessarily cares about too many things. He just likes if you give him a book, he'll be happy with that, and if you give him a toy, he might like it, but he might just not care for it. And by the end of it, he was pretty done with opening presents because he doesn't fully understand it yet, right? So he opens the first one, and that's what he wants, and then you take it away and you give him another, and he's like, I don't care about this. Give me that back. And so he has a meltdown for the first half, and then he figures it out, especially there's always a lot of people moving around and stuff, so he's distracted by that. But it was very good. It was a lot of fun. And the nice thing, Emma's family, all they know about me, or all they know about me, kind of is oh, he likes movies, he likes Star Wars. So I got a bunch of random Star Wars stuff, and I'm an idiot, and I just love it all. So that's fantastic. That's the only thing they attribute to me is movies, Star Wars, and then maybe a golf thing here and there.
That's nice to have a brand identity though, because I feel so many times, especially for dudes at our age, it's so many people are I have no clue what even to get you.
They know I like Star Wars, they know I like movies. That's all they go off of, and it's perfect every year. So great Christmas. Enjoyed seeing the family. It always gets super stressful. We were basically late to every single Christmas, so it evens out, because then we were late to the first, then we were late to the next, and then we were late to the next. Just
kid's a good excuse though. Can't really pull that off if you're
it's one of those where we're packing up ready to go, and then the kid gets into something, and aunt and uncle are all over it and loving on him and playing with him and stuff, and then we're on to the next one. Yeah, it was a really good time. Really enjoyed it. But Tyler, and I'm sure this happens in the UK as well, Seth, but how your trash comes the next day, when you have a holiday during the
if
week,
it falls on the holiday.
It comes the next day. So I missed trash day this week, and this is the worst week to miss trash day.
Does your trash come once a week?
Yeah. Does yours come more than
mine comes twice? It's kind of nice.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
This doesn't work. We don't work like this. Well,
you don't have.
No. So I live in we do.
You live in an apartment, right?
Yeah. I live in an apartment, so we have a communal bin.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter if you miss it because everything just goes in there anyway.
That's fair. That's fair. Those were the days.
But I relate when I lived in my mom's. It was the same thing. Yeah.
This is complete trash fraud. So I don't know if I can say this on live on air, but when I lived in my old apartment, we had just giant dumpsters throughout the community. So it was perfect. You could just throw your trash in there. And now every once in a while, if I have a really big item, I just drive back over there and dump it in there. Again, I'm fairly confident that's trash fraud. But if I get booked for trash fraud, we're screwed.
The trash man's gonna get you.
Yeah, exactly. But good week, really, really good week. Just very tired right now. I'm seeing the Iron Claw tonight.
And you're off this whole week, right?
Yeah, off next week. So got a lot of free time. When do you take? Do you you set up a tree, right, Tyler and Seth?
Yeah.
You guys set up a tree.
We've got a plastic tree, so it's
You have a
like
plastic tree. That's
Same
nice.
plastic. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good for you guys.
Wait,
I'm
yours
ready.
is real?
Yeah, we
they're
got
too
a real.
messy.
Oh,
They're too messy.
they're
Just
not
get
horrible.
everywhere.
My family's always had a plastic tree. Like I grew up with a plastic tree. Emma, oh, you're
Hello.
Smile. Emma had a real tree as a kid, so we get a real tree now, and we always say it'll be like, "Hi, bud." It'll be like maybe 2 more years.
The good thing about the real tree is you can save it for like you can use it for like many Christmases in a row.
No, the plastic tree. You can't use a real tree many Christmases.
Can you not?
A real tree?
Yeah.
No, that shit's dead.
I swear my mum used to do that.
When do you guys take down your tree? It's a good to have this week off because now I can take down the tree.
Probably like the second week of January, I would say.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
So I feel like anytime in January is acceptable. I think Riley just took ours down yesterday, so ours is already cooked. But yeah.
Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. My week was pretty good. Christmas didn't really work much. I worked a couple days, but
did Riley work? She did, didn't she?
Yeah, she was working. She had Christmas off, so that was nice. We just spent the whole day together. She worked Christmas Eve night, so like she worked that whole night up until like 7 a.m. Christmas Day, and she just stayed up that whole day. So just kind of pulled like a 24-hour.
Nice.
But that was a really good day. I basically, I got her some. Well, I did get her a Lego set, her first one ever. I got her the Hogwarts castle as her first one.
I was going to buy it for me, actually. I like that.
It's a big one. And then she also got these kind of like book nook things that are like these DIY little like miniatures. Like one's of Diagon Alley, and it's basically just like a scale model that you put together like with super tiny like wands and books. And she's
a big fan
of
fan? I didn't know she was a big Harry fan.
Yeah, I mean, she never really watched him until for the first time, like with me, like a year and a half or 2 years ago, and she's just really loved him ever since. So, nice. she just kind of sat all Christmas putting those together, just working on her little like miniature scale model thing. And while she did that, I just was watching a ton of films. So we were just like sitting on the couch together all day. She was kind of doing her thing, I was doing my thing. It was a solid day. And then, now it's the New Year's coming up. I don't really know many big like New Year's resolutions or goals or anything going in the new year, but I at least want to plan some stuff out for like ideally some stuff I maybe want to try out in the new year that maybe I didn't for 2023. But Bailey, hello, welcome to the podcast once again. What's up?
He's happy to be here. He likes to play with my like Xbox controller. So I have I don't know, Seth, how often you like or how big into gaming you are. I have a
very
gaming controller. So like
I used to have one
and stuff.
I used to have the Scuff ones.
Scuff
controllers. I used to have one of them. They're expensive though. They're very expensive.
I've had it for probably 4 or 5 years now.
Has it got the back paddles? The ones?
Yep. So Bailey takes all the pieces off, but I don't know where it's at right now. But he's looking for it. So
I used to.
He's hanging out. He's doing well now.
Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions for the new year? Like, maybe not resolutions, but like any big kind of like milestones you're trying to achieve in 2024?
I don't really set them because I think that anyone who sets them just doesn't achieve them because that's the way New Year's resolutions work. But I don't know. It's weird. So my goals usually come in. I said this to Anna the other day. My goals usually come in April because that's like the end of the tax year or the start of the tax year. I don't know if it works. Does it work the same in the US? Is it April?
Yeah, I think that's like the technical like deadline, but you can kind of start them like now and do them all the way until like May. It's like it's a window, but it's definitely tax season now. Yeah,
because that's when I do my like books business wise. I usually just set goals there, like business goals, that sort of thing.
Yeah, business goals. Yeah,
but in terms of like anything else, I don't usually set them. I kind of just want to stay in routine. Do you know what I mean? Because I think setting yourself targets, putting too much pressure on yourself is just going to lead to failure for most people anyway. So I don't usually set them anyway.
Yeah. Cam or Bailey, do you guys have any New Year's resolutions?
Hell no, man. I'm in.
It's the gym camera?
I'm not, man. As soon as Bailey is able to, I don't know, like once he's able to be on his own for long periods of time, maybe we'll get back in the gym. Maybe
I'll bring this back up on ReelTok episode 728.
Yeah, I'll try my best. I don't know. No New Year's goals this year. Goal was to post more on TikTok. I've been doing that.
Which you have, by the way.
Our goal for next year is buy a house. I don't know if that's like a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, New Year's. I mean, it's just because it's the new year, but I'm just talking about big milestones for 2024.
Yeah, so that'll be our hopeful goal of 2023, not necessarily a resolution. So that we'll see.
Maybe get married. That'd be nice.
That's a huge
we've been waiting for you.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that this year.
Tyler, are you getting married in 2024?
No, it'll be
another year.
Are you doing a big wedding though, Tyler? You're doing a big wedding, yeah? Or are you doing a wedding?
Well, yeah. In grand scheme of like not American, just weddings in general, it's gonna be small-ish. Like it's gonna be like 60 to 100 people, which sounds so big to me, but like average size is definitely like almost like 150 to 200. Seems like
ours was 100.
Yeah,
which is a medium-sized wedding, I think.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's just like people add up so fast because you're like, oh, your family, and then like, oh, they're plus ones or like they're related to others. It's like, oh man, like for me when we were talking about like 60 to 80 people, I was like, that seems like way too many. And then like I started like putting like down the bare minimum. Like, God, this just adds up so fast. If you do like wives and all that kind of stuff, that
are you doing 2025 though?
Yeah, it should be. I mean, we don't have a date yet. We're going in. Well, she's going in February to tour stuff, so we're gonna like nail down our date then. But 2025, like February, March is what we're looking for.
Nice.
Hell yeah!
So next year on the New Year's pod, that can be my milestone for the upcoming year. But this year, maybe moving. Like we want to move, but it'll be towards the end of next year, so that might also be a 2025 goal. But
I think that's with us as well. Yeah, Anna wants to move because I want to get a dog. And I can't have a dog, and I really want a dog and a cat, maybe. You know?
Yeah. No, good combo, dog and cat. We're a dog and cat, pro dog and cat.
We're pro dog and cat as well.
I'm more pro dog. Anna's more cat, but you know, I like both. But dogs are better. That's just
they're just like wildly different, and they're like both very good for different things. Like sometimes, like I just like the low energy of a cat. Like I don't really want a dog like that's like being all crazy. Like especially in the puppy phase.
Can have a chill dog though.
Yeah,
chill.
Once you get out of the puppy phase, it gets easier.
One of my dogs is very chill, and the other dog is just the worst. But
which one's the worst? Is he the bigger one?
No, the worst is the smaller one. Echo. Really? Izzy's the best dog ever, and I'll never accept any other answer to that. But my cat, I used to be a big dog person, not a cat guy, because my mom's allergic to cats, so I never had them. Big fan of cats now. They're fun. They're good fun.
They also don't really care about you though.
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome.
They're just lazy. They're just so lazy.
Our cat Ramsey, our black cat, he's like obsessed with us. He's probably like our most caring pet of
there's some cats that are the small minority because they are, you know, I think Anna's cat's the same, but a lot of cats just don't give a fuck. They're just like
we have another cat who doesn't.
They'll get fed from like the neighbors, and it's like they're so unloyal, you know, disloyal to you.
Why are you letting them out to get fed by the neighbors?
Well, I don't have a cat.
I guess.
Yeah, that's a normal thing. What do you mean?
Well,
you
yeah, but I don't
cat run around. Cats need to go out. They're like free animals. They need to go out and run around.
Yeah, some are, but like not.
Our cats are indoor cats, but Riley's like childhood cat who's still alive. So like back at her parents is an outdoor cat, and it's like outdoor cats just like the coolest. Like they just have such a bad
outdoor cats. Aren't all cats outdoor? Every cat needs to go out and just run about, do their own thing.
Most cats are indoor. Like in the US.
No, they're not.
There are a lot of outdoor cats, but if you have a cat as a pet, most of them are indoor cats.
Yeah, I think only outdoor cats live on farms here.
What the fuck are we talking about here?
Yeah.
I need some British.
Y'all got cats running around like crazy.
Yeah, like everywhere.
I've seen them because I said like Riley has one, and it's outside 99% of the time.
Emma's dad's cat is an outdoor cat. Nick just comes back at night and for breakfast and stuff. But
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but he lives in an open. He has a lot of land. Like,
oh no, it's not the same here. That's weird.
Yeah. Well, comment down below if you're team outdoor cat.
Yeah, if you have a cat, comment down below. Say if it's an outdoor.
You keep them outdoor or indoor. Let's go through what we've been watching. Seth, what have you been ticking off this week?
Yeah, it's a bunch of Christmas shit, obviously. When did we last speak? So yeah, okay. So I did like the perfect Christmas lineup, I would say. So me and Anna watched Willy Wonka and the first Harry Potter. The day after, we saw Wizard of Oz that was at Anna's dad's house. Don't really count. The day after that, me, Anna, and Mum watched Nightmare Before Christmas, which I think is great. Home Alone 2, and then at night we watched It's a Wonderful Life. The day after that, I watched Muppets Christmas Carol, which is one of my favorites. And that, for me, is the perfect Christmas lineup, you know? That's perfect.
So I know Home Alone 2 is obviously your favorite of that franchise, but how often do you rewatch Home Alone 2 without Home Alone 1? Like, are you never watching Home Alone 1 ever again? Or is it just like...
I usually watch Home Alone 1 a year, but I don't know why I just didn't watch it this year. I only watched Home Alone 2, weirdly. I do prefer Home Alone 2, but yeah, I usually watch them both, but this year I don't know, it's because I wanted to tick off other things this year, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just watched. And then I watched... have you heard of a film called Stranger Than Fiction? It's a Will Ferrell film, one of his probably more comedy drama.
Yeah.
Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. It was interesting. Then I also watched a Godzilla film the other day. I watched a film called The Double, which is like a surreal comedy drama with Jesse Eisenberg, which is actually really, really good. I definitely recommend it if people haven't seen it. And then I watched, obviously, Ferrari, which we'll touch on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of it. So a good Christmas lineup, really.
Yeah, nice. Cam, what have you been ticking off?
I watched a whole lot of nothing this week. I watched Killers of the Flower Moon, which I enjoyed a good amount. I think I've officially decided my brain is just too cooked for 3.5 hour movies. I think my brain is just...
Didn't you also watch it super late at night?
No.
Never mind. The Lego was what kept you up after that.
Yeah. It was actually... So what was yesterday? Friday. It was Thursday. So I
did you review it? I didn't see you review it.
No, I just said Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio looks like he's wearing braces the entire movie, but isn't actually, and it really pissed me off. Whatever makeup he was wearing, like it looked like he had braces on the whole time, and it frustrated me. Also, here's a hot take, probably a stupid take, but I'm willing to accept that. Has Robert De Niro lost it?
No, he was good.
No, I didn't. Really
he was really good. What?
He was my favorite performance in the movie, honestly.
What?
Really?
Bad take. Bad.
That's fine.
I liked him more than Gladstone and DiCaprio, honestly.
Oh, I actually prefer DiCaprio and Gladstone, to be honest, but I still thought it was really, really great.
So I was trying to look up I was going to look up his filmography. So this was implying that you guys maybe also thought he had lost it. Because his filmography recently really...
The Irishman?
The Irishman is...
I mean, good. Filmography as a whole has kind of been stinky since 2010, right? Because for every Irishman and Killers of the Flower Moon, he has 3 dirty grandpas, right?
Yeah, I guess. Let me find it. So
guy's just holding it in. You got a fair play to it.
He's got a lot of kids he has to feed, man. Just chill out.
Gino's did the same thing. Just
About My Father comes out this year.
I liked it. 3 out of 5 stars.
What's About My Father?
The Sebastian Maniscalco, Robert De Niro comedy.
The only reason I actually know about that movie, I was just talking to someone yesterday, and I guess her cousin is Sebastian Maniscalco. That's her cousin.
Have you seen any of his comedy specials? I
had not heard of him.
Have you seen the poster to that film? Jesus Christ!
You do a lot of bad movies, Mr. Robert.
I'm telling you, he's throwing it in now. He's getting the money.
Yeah, good for him. The War with Grandpa. No way, that's a real movie.
The fuck is that?
It's him. He's
it's the guy who directed Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Wow. Really? Hell yeah. And then the Irishman and Joker. And the Irishman, I thought he was good. And the Joker, he really didn't need to do a whole lot. So that's where my mind was going. He hasn't lost it, but I didn't love him.
I don't think he's lost. I think he's just
he's just kind of older now, which is totally fine. He's making a lot of money for all his kids.
I know, obviously, that they're making a ton of money, so they don't really care. But do you ever think part of him is just a little not because he lost or anything, just because of his age, to be now he's just kind of cast as when a casting director is we want an old guy that a dad will be like, hey, that's him. That's kind of Robert De Niro most of these days.
Yeah. And he's getting fat paychecks for each film as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he loves it, but I'm sure anyone who's making a ton of money, if it's not your favorite thing in the world, I feel like at 1% of the time you have a quick thought in your head, you're like, I don't love this. But
he's also got Scorsese, who still calls him up for the big, the Irish Kills the Flower Moon.
Right. Yeah.
So it's at the same time. Well, not everything. He hadn't been in Scorsese for a while since then. Yeah, since the Irishman, before that, I don't think he'd been on one for a while actually. But he's always got the films where he can put his actual full effort into kind of thing, where he actually enjoys the projects, and I think that's clear as Scorsese. When was the last time he was in a Scorsese film?
Emma wants to know who you guys would fight. If a celebrity you would fight if you could take all of their money if you won. She asked me earlier this week.
All of them. I'd take all of them.
Seth said he'd take
I don't know.
all of them.
Zuckerberg's trained pretty well.
No, Zuckerberg would do you. Zuckerberg would break my arm.
Because I feel like
probably
people's like initial
Bill-
mind goes to like Zuckerberg.
I'll
It's
take
like,
Jesse
scrawny man,
Eisenberg's
billion.
Zuckerberg.
I'll take Bill Gates. Guys,
I think we could beat Musk. Bill Gates is a great pick. I was gonna say Musk. Bill Gates would be even easier.
Yeah,
they said Bill Gates is their conclusion. I said Robert De Niro.
He's scrappy. You know, I've
seen the man kick, and I've seen
the kick in the
last 3 years.
And dude, the amount of crappy movies he's in lately, like I don't think his net worth might be as high, like liquid as you think it is. You might beat him up and be like, give me all your money, and he's give me all your money. He's like, I've been in a lot of.
Just take like David Attenborough or something. Like he's old as fuck, man. Like,
Morgan Freeman would be pretty easy target.
Why are we targeting actors? Target like a Saudi prince who's like 90.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be easier.
Robert's net worth is at least 500 million, according to this range.
But you'll find some billionaires who are old as fuck.
For sure. You know I mean, I'm not arguing that, but I think Bob would be an easy target.
Joe Biden's pretty rich.
Oh shit!
Rich, yeah, probably.
Yeah, he will be surely.
Yeah, I'm sure. What else was I gonna say? Oh, I was telling Emma this earlier in the week. I was like, the only thing I love, like seeing all my family and all my wife's family on Christmas. I just love family time. But the only thing that kind of bums me is we're always so busy. We can't like just sit and watch. I agree. We can't just like sit and watch movies. You know, it's always up and going, which is of course fine. But that's like the only bumming thing I was telling her.
Guys, Ferrari for you?
Huh?
Was it just Killers of the Flower Moon and Ferrari for you then this week?
Yeah, that's all I saw this week. We watched what did we watch twice on Christmas Eve, Emma? The
best Christmas ever? No,
it was the Here Comes the Santa Claus or something like that. One of the old animated movies about like the first Christmas. We watched it twice because we were cleaning. We got to do all like the stay up till midnight building random stuff. So that was fun. But we watched it. We were just cleaning and didn't at any point actually watch the movie. We just kind of turned it on and then ignored it for the rest of the night. So that was fun.
I want you both to guess when the last Robert De Niro film. Wait, what was the last Scorsese film De Niro was in before The Irishman?
Casino.
Goodfellas.
Yes.
Wait, which one?
Casino. Casino. Yeah, Casino. It was a good guess. I forgot about that.
I'm kind of a trivia man on YouTube now, so I got to be showing off and being able to get these right, or else I'm a fraud. I'm a fraudulent man.
This is the life I live.
Yeah, let's see. What I watched a ton this week. So I watched the Ari Aster short film, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. I actually really liked it, honestly. But I like Ari Aster a lot. I think the thing is, for me, I just heard about it for the past so many years of it being like the most disturbing thing ever. And like at the end of the day, it's on YouTube. So I was like, it can't be like that. It's very disturbing, obviously, but like I thought it was going to be just like some disgusting visuals.
Yeah,
it's more just conceptually crazy. Watched Darkest Hour. Whatever. It was just like a very
fine
movie. Yeah. Gary Oldman's strong in it, but that's kind of about it.
He's not that strong. He's good, but like you compare it to some of his other roles, and it's like he won the Oscar for that, didn't he? I think. Yeah, that was like
it's a very Oscar baity role. Like, it was like the whole movie is him just giving speeches and like banging.
Yeah, it was like Leo's Revenant. It was just like he deserved one, so they're just like, fucking I think.
Yeah, I don't really know who's gone up against that year, but yeah, it wasn't anything crazy. It was a very fine movie. It's honestly, it just like made me want to watch Dunkirk more because like the whole movie is about like leading up to kind of like that making the Dunkirk operation go, and I was kind of like or Operation Dynamo, I think is what it's called. And I'm like, I just kind of would want to watch Dunkirk instead of this.
Now that's a good film.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be a good double feature, and it'd be perfect because Darkest Hour is like not as good as Dunkirk, so it's like a good like leading up, and you're like, all right, give me to the meat and potatoes here. Yeah. Rewatched Barbie on Christmas, and honestly, I still have a lot of fun with that movie.
Oh, rewatch that too. I rewatched that too.
I had a lot of fun with it. Like it's still a 3-star for me. Like I don't think the story's like great by any means, but I think the comedy hits a lot. And like Ryan Gosling truly is so hilarious. And Margot Robbie obviously is fantastic. But
yeah, it's funny.
My family watched it. Like I think a couple of my family members watched it and they hated it. I think one said they turned it off 15 minutes in. The other one said they'd rate it lower than a 0.5 star. So movies are back. If we're getting reactions like that, movies are officially back. Rewatched Anatomy of a Fall. It's just definitely one of my favorite films from this past year.
I haven't seen it yet.
Christmas, I just watched a ton of stuff on Christmas. I watched because I started with Barbie, then Anatomy of a Fall, then went right into Little Women, which is still my favorite Greta Gerwig film. Right into Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Rewatched that. Still love Rachel McAdams so much. I kind of want to it's been so long since I've seen it. I wanted to be like, is she still up there for me as Best Supporting Actress? She's definitely one of my favorites of the year. Then finished off with Paddington 1 and 2. I mean, no better way to really end a Christmas day. Those are very like Christmas adjacent movies. Seth, I'm really excited for you to watch those, especially Paddington 2, because I
got cooked on TikTok for saying I've never seen Paddington.
It's literally all the same cast as Wonka, like, except Timothy Chalamet, but all the supporting actors you love, like Hugh Grant, Sally Hawkins, not Olivia Colman, but
Olivia Colman's going to be in the third one, isn't she?
Right. It's just like, I mean, it makes sense. It's Paul King, except I don't know if Paul King is directing the third one. Honestly, I can't remember.
I think he is.
Okay.
Is
Either way,
I assume he would come back. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, the Paddington movies are great. The second one was making me cry way more than I was expecting.
I've heard.
Watch Passages, Seth. That's how you saw this from this year. Very good.
Yeah, good film.
I didn't love it. Very good.
Yeah.
Same boat. It was just a very fascinating love triangle, and I was like happy with the way it ended, because there's like a lot of toxic relationships, and I was kind of like, okay, seems like they're kind of breaking free of these, so that's good. All of Us Strangers, watch that. Fantastic. Paul Mescal, like he's always great. This one I think he's still very good in, but there's not a ton of Paul Mescal in this.
It's Andrew Scott, isn't it?
Yeah, Andrew Scott's brilliant. He definitely, like, if he gets nominated for Best Actor, I would not be disappointed whatsoever. Whereas Paul Mescal, like, it's kind of like, After Sun was so incredible from last year that this, I was just like, yeah, he's just kind of, it's a good supporting actor performance. It's nothing.
Andrew Scott's fantastic. Yeah,
he's so good, man. Because that episode of Black Mirror Smithereens is like such a mid to bad episode, but his performance alone makes me like it, because like he's like one of my favorite acting performances.
He's the cab driver, isn't he? I forgot about that.
Yeah, he kind of just carries that whole episode, which is like a very mid episode, but like his performance alone makes me like really enjoy it, because he's so freaking good in it.
Yeah, he's great.
Seth, I watched Blue Jean. Fantastic.
Yeah, I did see this. Really, really good.
Very devastating.
Kind of like, if you know more about that kind of era of the UK, kind of Thatcher's
era, 1988-ish, right?
Yeah. So Thatcher's era of Britain, really great, devastating. I actually think, Tyler, now I put it on my 2023 rant. Apparently, it is actually still 2022, because I think it qualified for the BAFTAs in 2023. I don't know. Films confuse me, but I think it's like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, well then maybe I'll remove it from my 2023. But Swiss Army Man, which we're going to be reviewing later in the week. Watch American Fiction as well. Jeffrey Wright. This has kind of been the year of actors redeeming themselves, because I've never loved Mark Ruffalo, as you all know, but I enjoyed his performance in Poor Things. Jeffrey Wright, I've just never loved that much, because I've always kind of feel like he's what?
Not in Asteroid City.
Yeah, I liked him better in Asteroid City. So that's kind of what I'm saying, like 2023 is because most Jeffrey Wright I've seen is in like the Batman, Game Night, Westworld, where I feel like he's always grovelly voiced, kind of like in taking himself a little too seriously, it seems like, and in more serious roles. But in American Fiction and Asteroid City, where his comedy is allowed to shine, they're just great. Like American Fiction is great.
He's really good.
Very funny movie of just like an actor, or he's like an author trying to sell books, and he's like not getting anything sold, and then like other Black authors are writing these books that are like, my life was so hard, man. I was locked up and like drugs and all that. So like his publisher is basically saying like, you just got to make up stories and pretend. Like,
is it a comedy?
Yeah, it's a comedy drama.
Really good, actually.
But it's more comedy than drama. Like there's a lot of funny moments. There's obviously some very dramatic moments.
Sounds really good.
Devastating, but I really enjoyed it. It's definitely going to be contending for some Oscars this year. And then final three, just trying to tick off these 2023 releases before the end of the year. Watch Do Not Expect Too Much from the End of the World. It's Romania's entry for international film. That was really good. Overly long a bit for me, but really good analysis and critique of Romanian culture and politics, while also being pretty funny. Like a lot of comedy in it, a lot of jokes at Andrew Tate's expense in it. So always fun to see that. Like way more than you'd expect. A lot more.
What is that poster, by the way?
I know it's crazy, but it's by Radu Jade. It's kind of known for making these very satirical and biting films. And I think the poster kind of speaks to it, but the film is a lot more serious than the poster, but there's a lot of comedy in it and a lot of Andrew Tate jokes.
I might watch that.
And then Seth, I also watched How to Have Sex. That film's devastating, man. It's like to use a George Carmi quote he always uses, like watching a car crash happen in slow motion. Like, you know where it's going the whole time, but like you're just hoping someone's gonna like intervene, but it's just you're just holding. I was like very anxious that whole movie.
So,
tough.
Not
watch.
to like give much away,
Right.
regarding the film, but the events that happen are very, very common in British culture. Like in terms of that kind of nightlife, that party life culture, it's very much more common you might think. And it'll probably, I think, especially it's a film for British women, especially around the age when they are kind of 16 to 18. I think it's very, very powerful. And it was obviously the Molly Manning Walker. It was her debut as well. So it's a new, not only new filmmaker to look out for, a new female filmmaker, a new British female filmmaker. There's not like that many I follow. So yeah, I really, really liked it. I think more people should definitely watch it. It's on Mubi, actually. People listening, it's on Mubi, so you can watch it right now. It's fantastic, really, really good.
Yeah, Molly Manning Walker. Is it
on Mubi in the US or just UK?
I
saw Mubi.
So.
Everyone tagged like Mubi UK, so I didn't know if
it's a Mubi original. So I would assume it's on. It's a movie distributed, so I'd assume it's on both. I'll because I might do like an add on it actually, because I've really realized the issue is with that film, you can't review it on TikTok or Letterboxd without people just being immature as fuck. That's what people are like, obviously, because the name is How to Have Sex. On my like, when I reviewed it, every comment is like haven't you got a fiance, that sort of shit. And when it's a film about subject matter, it's kind of hard to speak.
Yeah, it's one of those like when you see the title, you like, oh, there's so many jokes you can make about it. And you watch the movie, you're like, probably not something to joke
That's
about.
just not a joke, but it's just crazy.
But Molly Manning Walker for a debut is incredible. And then Mia McKenna Bruce is so good in this. I see she's been in like The Witcher and some other films that I've actually seen, but I've never really noticed her performances. She's
a girl who was in like one of the biggest kids TV shows growing up in the UK, like a proper classic. And she was like one of the main people in it when she was younger. She's actually a lot older than you might think, she's like 27, 28 or something like that. It's crazy. But this was like, I would say, her breakout role, her first lead role in a film. And I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, she's one of my favorite lead performances of the year. I think she was absolutely brilliant. Like, really, she kind of got across the innocent, naive nature of someone of that age going across, going across to another country, partying. Like, she was really, really good and a proper shot to me. So yeah, I'll definitely look out for more films from not only her but the director as well, because technically it was also really, really good, I thought, especially for a first-time director.
No, excellent, absolutely excellent. Devastating film, but it was really great. And then finally I watched Memory with Jessica Chastain. It was good. It didn't fully work for me. There's a lot of interesting bits it tried about. Basically, she has a lot of trauma from her past that she kind of hasn't resolved, and she reconnects with someone who has early onset dementia. So kind of memory from two different perspectives, like someone's trauma and dealing with the past while also someone literally kind of dementia. Didn't fully click for me, but there's a lot of interesting ideas thrown around. I just don't know if it all meshed together. But then the final like 2023 movies I'm trying to tick off before the end of the year is The Color Purple, Close Your Eyes, which Owen turned me on to, Totem, which is like Mexico's entry to the international film, Americazzi, Origin, Perfect Days is the one I want to see the most, and then Robot Dreams. So I'm gonna try to take those off.
Yeah, Robot Dreams looks so cool, man. I really want to watch that.
Yeah, but once I finish these, like the next 2 days, I'm gonna be cramming in these 2023 releases. I'm gonna like probably watch the most like mind-numbing like 2-star films for the next like week. So I just need a break from like cramming in so many like award contending films that are usually like deep, heavy subject matter, and like going from like All of Us Strangers to How to Have Sex to all these movies have such deep and like emotional subject material. I'm like, I need like stupid comedies for like a week to just kind of brainwash myself. Night Swim's coming out next weekend, so Night Swim will be a good.
Is that already? Jeez, I didn't know that early a release.
Yeah, first weekend. Blumhouse January is the month of Blumhouse. Just crappy movies.
Yeah, really. Molly Manning Walker. She was also the cinematographer for Scrapper, which is quite interesting.
Fascinating.
Which kind of makes sense. It's quite similar visual style, especially. It's really interesting.
Yeah, and oh wait, never mind. I was getting that confused with the actress, but yeah, I saw Molly Manning Walker. I was looking into filmography that she like started off as a cinematographer, and then she directed Public Stories. This is her first feature length directing, but she started as a cinematographer, which is like I feel like something super rare. You see the jump from someone being a cinematographer to a director. I feel like you see some directors that try and take on cinematography as well, but I feel like you don't have to see someone starting off as a cinematographer.
Yeah, a lot of directors do their own cinematography, like Zack Snyder obviously did recently. But I can't think of that many, especially with such a successful first film as well. When she wrote it, I think, I'm pretty sure she wrote it. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's all I've been watching. So now we'll get into our one and only review for this week, which I feel like is very rare for us. But I will mention The Color Purple and The Boys in the Boat also came out on Christmas, but I was not able to catch those. Like I just mentioned, I do want to see The Color Purple for the year ends because I do think, I mean, it looks really great. I'm excited for it, but also it looks like it's gonna be contending for a lot of awards. So I need to get on that. That's my goal for either tonight or tomorrow, but before the year end for sure. But Ferrari is one we did see. All three of us did. I know Cam. Oh no, Cam's back. Never mind. Sorry, I have my screen covered. But Ferrari, directed by Michael Mann, starring Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz, Shailene Woodley, Patrick Dempsey. It's a biopic of automotive mogul Enzo Ferrari, whose family redefined the idea of the high-powered Italian sports car and practically spawned the concept of Formula One racing. It's based on a novel. Obviously, it's a true story. It's about a real man and a real company. It's one of those that's similar to like the Iron Claw in terms of it's something that really happened that people in the know of the sport know about. But like for most of us, like everyone's like, how did you not know about the Iron Claw story? It's like, I'm not a wrestling fan. I've seen a lot of racing people be like, how did you not know about, like, why is everyone so shocked about Ferrari? Like, how did you not know about it? I'm like, I don't follow racing. So like, it was new to me. Like I didn't know about any of this. So these biopics are been fun to kind of dive into these worlds we don't know too much about. But I'm going to start with, I'll start with Cam because he saw the most recently. Thoughts on Ferrari and your overall rating? Kind of dive in deeper.
I really liked Ferrari. I'm teetering like how much I really liked it. But I enjoyed it a lot. I think Adam Driver obviously does very well in it. I don't think he's like delivering any Oscar type performance, but I think you think so. All right. Yeah. I think he's very, very good. Really interesting story. And yeah, like Tyler said, one of those, like, I didn't fucking know anything about it. I'm sure if my dad watched this, he would know everything about it. Absolute dad movie right here.
I think any Michael Mann film is just like dad movie.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think Penelope Cruz was really great. People were mad maybe about Shailene Woodley's
her accent.
I didn't have an issue with it. It's whatever.
I'm kind of the same boat in terms of she wasn't in it enough for it to really sway my opinion.
Yeah. If she'd have been like Penelope Cruz's character, it probably would have been a little bit different. Where she's doing those scenes, those emotional scenes with the accent, it'd be like, okay.
I think the scene at the end that we'll get into or towards the end is super impactful and just fucking crazy.
Because I didn't know about that as well.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. And it's one of those things you can like. So if I could predict it, but not the extent of it, and we'll talk about that in the spoilers. Because like it's a racing movie. You can kind of like if you're gonna do some sort of impact in a racing movie, you can take a guess as to what it is. But it's a lot more than just that as well. And I think it's interesting, like seeing Ferrari like working with his drivers and everything, and getting all of them into the races. And I forget exactly like what race this is, but I think Patrick Dempsey's really awesome. Did all his stunts for this. I always like Patrick Dempsey just because I'm a fan of Grey's Anatomy up until his death. So shout out him.
Spoiler. Spoilers. Now I'm never even gonna watch that show because you just spoiled it.
Sure. But shout out him for doing all his own stunts. He's like a trained I don't know if he's like an F1 driver or what exactly driving.
Is he really?
Yeah, but like that's why he's like such a big car guy. And I think he left Grey's Anatomy because he wanted more time, like just to do things with his car. He still likes acting, but he wants to like balance it or do whatever he does with F1 or anything like that. So I thought he was really cool in this. I think, is kind of like the perfect runtime for this movie. Like I said earlier, I think my brain is just mush at this point, and my attention span is so dead. 3.5 hours is a lot, but I thought this felt like a breeze to get through. 2 hours right on the dot, basically. Really just flies by. Very intense without being like in your face action. Like it's I think racing movies are always very intense. But I think this one does really well, and it's just cool to see. It's an interesting story to learn about. Like you said, I didn't know about it before. Very interesting to learn about. So I enjoyed my time watching it. I think it'll be 4.5 area. Maybe 86 out of 100 around there, just above like Killers of the Flower Moon is probably my guess.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't rated it yet, but I'm pretty confident by the time this rolls around, it'll be like an 86 around there.
I don't know whose reviews I'm seeing on Letterboxd. I swore I saw you rate both Killers of the Flower Moon and Ferrari, but I guess you didn't rate either of those yet. So I'm just
I
going
rated
crazy.
Killers of the Flower Moon. I thought.
Okay, never mind.
This was one of those I watched late last night and then did Lego and like didn't care to write.
You should have seen this on the big screen. I feel like you'd like it even more. The sound in this is crazy. Like the sound design of the Ferrari is man.
I did see it on the big screen.
Oh, how are you doing Lego then?
I saw it.
Great, brilliant, sick, nice one.
I didn't see it on the big screen either because I was lucky enough to be sent like the screener package from Neon, so I was able to see this like a month ago. But yeah, I'd be interested to see it on the big screen. But I'll get into my thoughts a little more later. But Seth, Ferrari.
Yeah, I will say something quite funny happened. So when I posted my initial review on TikTok, everyone was like, "Oh, paid ad, whatever." You know, because people like just say that if they don't like a film and you do, it's like, "Oh, get that check, buddy," whatever. It's like I wasn't paid.
Well, and they like boosted it after the fact.
Yeah. So now it looks like I'm just blatantly lying because they. Bear in mind, they didn't pay me anything to boost it. They just said, "Can we boost it?"
Right.
Yeah, sure. You know,
which I think is a great strategy. More movie studios are doing, but it's hard for the audiences because they see sponsored. Because like 2 days after you post a review, they'll boost it.
Yeah.
My Iron Claw one just got boosted. Now it's like people be like, "Oh, sponsored post." It's like this is after the fact, and you're not.
They boosted it. I think it's got like 2 million now, and it didn't even do that well before. It was probably like 40, 50K. And then all my comments like now, like you know, this is an ad I can't trust you, and it's like, oh, I need to stress this wasn't an ad. Like I genuinely do not believe this. That was quite annoying. But yeah, I mean, I love this. I'm a huge fan of modern Michael Mann. I think similar to his last 2 films, especially his last one, Black Hat, which wasn't particularly well received by a general audience, critically as well. I loved, and I think this is, you know, the perfect high octane kind of power trip. I think I mentioned in my review this kind of balances the psychologically traumatizing moments that Enzo Ferrari went through, and I think Adam Driver gives one of his best performances to date in my eyes, at least that I've seen, as like a stoic yet emotional man, you know, with the whole world around him collapsing. And then it also has in there, you know, these brilliantly structured racing sequences that are, you know, exhilarating, exciting, and also traumatic, similar to the events that are happening during his life. Him and Penelope Cruz are like one of my perfect, you know, pairings of the year. I think they work just unbelievably well together. I think Penelope Cruz is kind of this aggressive, more passionate side of it, whereas Adam Driver is, like I mentioned, kind of the more stoic side of the relationship in terms of being, you know, the business partner as well. I think Michael Mann just has a keen eye for how to shoot things, and I think he always has. And I think he does so in such an effortless way in all his films. And I think, especially for me, like someone who's I'm not into racing at all. I know nothing about. I don't watch F1, don't watch any of this. I'm not into it at all. And to still captivate me throughout, not only with the racing sequences, but also the build up to it. And Enzo kind of going through it with his team, kind of motivating his team as well. Just really excited me. And I think one of the most impressive things, as I mentioned, was the use of sound. It was crazy. Like, I think I said this in my review, like the use of sound is always amazing. I think Michael Mann has that on lock. It's just really, really incredible how they use it, technicalities in this film, but also the use of silence, especially, you know, with the scene that we'll go on to. The use of silence is kind of just as poignant and just as there and just as impactful as the racing sounds and how kind of ballistic it is throughout. But yeah, this is actually my third favorite of the year so far. It's in my top 3. Like I loved it. And I kind of assumed I would, because I think modern Michael Mann is just, I think he's one of the best filmmakers working today. I think this is the perfect film for Michael Mann to make. As Cam said, Shailene Woodley didn't really bother me, to be honest. Like if she had a big role, if she was in Penelope Cruz's role, which wouldn't really make sense, but if she was, for example, probably would have noticed a little bit more. You know, I wouldn't say it was great by any means, but it wasn't something which I was really up in arms about, which I noticed a lot of my comments were specifically. But yeah, I thought this was brilliant. I probably think, you know, maybe one more watch, this might shoot up again and be a 5-star for me. Right now, I'll give it a 4.5. I think on the big screen, especially, just truly amazing. And quite funny in moments as well, which was surprising. Really like the cast. Really like Patrick Dempsey, as Cam said. Jack O'Connell wasn't in much, but I really, really like him. You know, it's like he was one I grew up with, so I love him. Obviously, Adam Driver, I think, is one of the best performances of the year. It's kind of my second best lead role of the year behind Cillian Murphy, so really, really high for me. And Penelope Cruz is like my second supporting actress behind Lily. Actually, no, Carey Mulligan, Lily Gladstone's her third supporting actress. Love both of them. Perfect pairing on screen, and I was completely transfixed from start to finish. But yeah, 4.5. We'll go into some of the more of the the more traumatizing moments in a minute. But yeah, really liked it.
Yeah, I thought Ferrari was just a masterful biopic on kind of just Enzo Ferrari. Man, is just so hell bent on perfection and success that he doesn't really care who or what gets hurt along the way. His relationships suffer. His relationships with both his lovers as well as his kids as well as his teammates. Like he's just so focused on perfection and achieving greatness that I mean, like a lot of people like in this position, like that become master moguls of companies, kind of have that same drive in them. No pun intended for Ferrari or Adam Driver. But yeah, Shailene Woodley, like when it came out and the initial reviews were coming out, like I saw so many people dragging her, and yeah, she's not great in this, but she just really doesn't have enough impact in the film for me to actually care, like we all kind of mentioned. Penelope Cruz is great. She's not super high on my supporting actress list, but like she's definitely very strong in this. And Adam Driver, I did really love him, kind of more in Seth's boat in terms of one of my favorite performances of the year from a lead actor. Definitely
he's
way
so
better
good,
than
isn't he? It's
65.
crazy.
Yeah, way better than 65.
Yeah, true.
But I thought the cinematography was great. It's by the same cinematographer as The Killer, Eric Messerschmidt. So I think just a phenomenal year for him with two great.
That's my best cinematography of the year. That would be my pick. The Killer.
Yeah, he's crushed it this year. And just the editing and the sound design. I thought the sound design was super strong during the action scenes specifically. I've been reading a lot of critical reviews. Apparently, like a lot of critics are having issues with the sound design in terms of
the dialogue.
Maybe in the more dialogue moments, like a lot of the microphone sounds, and especially the lavalier mics, have heard criticized by a lot of people. I'm just not there yet in terms of like being able to have a technical eye enough for sound design and sound mixing to be able to be like, yeah, the sound design is whack, but I do know that's the common criticism I've seen is that the sound design is
similar to like the criticisms like Tenet, I think, in terms of how people received it.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue and like Tenet and Dunkirk and stuff like that. But it doesn't really affect me. Like if I can hear it, whatever.
Right. But at least during the action scenes, like the non-speaking scenes, I thought the sound design was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's moments we'll talk about like with visual effects that people have criticized, which like they're not great. But again, the same thing as Shailene Woodley, where it's like it's just so minor that it just doesn't impact my thoughts on the film. Like it's just so minimal, the use of visual effects. But yeah, I really liked it. 4 stars. It came in at 20th on the year for me, which obviously on first glance sounds low because you're like, oh man, like but I've just seen so many films. Like this is what it's sandwiched between. Right above it is Spider-Verse and How to Have Sex. Right below it is Killers of Flower Moon and All of Us Strangers and Past Lives.
Yeah.
So like these are all phenomenal films. I've just seen so many damn films this year that 20 sounds low, but it's up there with, the heavy hitters of the year. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, 4 stars. We'll kind of throw on the spoiler mark and we'll kind of talk a little deeper about it, but spoilers starting now, so skip ahead if you haven't seen Ferrari, because we do recommend you all go see it. Go see it on the big screen. I think I'm gonna try and like see it on the big screen if I can.
I have to go again. A couple days.
I just have it on DVD right now, but I at least watch it on like a nice nice TV setup. I have a good sound system, but nothing compared to like a movie theater. But thankful, obviously that I was sent the screener. Nonetheless, I'm not complaining at all. I'll try and see it if I can on the theater. But yeah, so. Let's just start with, the big thing, the big moment, the crash at the end. Well, there's technically 2 crashes. There's the one where they're kind of on the test lap early in the movie. That was the first moment my jaw dropped, was when they kind of flipped the car during that test training lap and the dude just flies out of it. But then my jaw was like buried into the ground on the final crash that happened and all the carnage. It was just one of the most horrifying and visceral and disturbing imagery I've seen in a film in a long time. More than in most horror movies. I didn't see When Evil Lurks. I know that's probably like one of the crazier ones from this year, but Ferrari, that scene was insane.
Yeah, you should watch When Evil Lurks. Side note. Definitely watch it.
What did he hit?
Who?
The driver.
The second scene. Where he just tied
Where
does his tire go over? That's a good point, actually. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know, like looking up the real story after it said his tire blew out. So I don't know if he might have ran over something. He might have just his tire blew. That's pretty common.
The movie makes it like very clear he ran over something. Did that happen? I don't know. But I didn't think they explained what he hit. And I
don't know, just debris or something in the road.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like put in there as like symbolism. I think it's just they put in there so people could see his tire blown out, I guess.
Yeah. But what I was saying earlier is like you could very easily predict a car crash in this, like obviously, but the fact that it like kills 9 people,
7 people, I think it was
7 people. Okay, like 5
kids.
Well,
it takes them the fuck out was just kind of crazy to see. Like that's not something you expect, right? Because it's a track that no one's really around, but at this one turn, he hits that and his car goes flying, hits a pole,
straight into people.
Just hits a pole and then straight into 7 people, which was insane to see. Yeah, that was like, that for me was like, what the fuck, because you know the crash is coming, but you don't know the extent of it, right? Unless you obviously know the story.
Yeah, my like, I said this, like, I've watched, I think, most of Michael Mann's films. There's still a couple I haven't seen, but I think that was like, for me, his like most visceral scene I've ever seen from him, and really the payoff of it, and like it was kind of similar to like the scene in Oppenheimer where I went to a really busy my screening was really busy, and everyone was just silent. I think that is again what I said before, like the sound design was incredible, but the use of silence was the moment where it was really so traumatizing and ingraining and really sad. I also think, going back to your point, Tyler, about the first crash, the test sequence where the guy crashed, obviously, and then kind of, he crashes, and then, Enzo,
crazy too.
Yeah, and then Enzo's just, again, stoic and just there, and he just, immediately says to the guy, I can't remember his name, obviously the guy wants to race with him, says, come to this and this, and then, let's try you out, whatever. And it's like, I think that showcases all his kind of business mindset and his kind of stoicism. And I think that comes from, again, his like lack of empathy towards death ever since his son died. And I think it's like kind of a grease mechanic there, is just to not allow himself to kind of open up to people, I think, is the main thing. And I think that comes again from the death of his son, which obviously we haven't really got into like his affair with his his son with Shailene Woodley and stuff like that, but I think again that's a really important part. But yeah, definitely the second scene is probably the most traumatizing I've seen from Michael Mann as a director. He usually has these kind of big emotional moments, but not to that extent visually, because even after it happens and you're seeing like all the body parts and stuff of like kids, it's really impactful, and it wasn't something I expected. So yeah, it really caught me off guard and was very sad.
Yeah, it's just it mirrors the Iron Claw in a way, which I'm not spoiling the Iron Claw, but like there's stuff that happens. There's stuff that happens in real life that you're like, that's so unbelievable. Like, did that really happen? Then you research it, and like for Ferrari, the crash, like it did very, like the tire blew out, it hits a telephone pole. Like they didn't just like make that up. It hits telephone pole, ricochets off over. I think it said in real life there was like a barrier, because I can't remember in the movie. Like it seemed like they were all kind of just standing on the side of the road.
There's usually I think there was a barrier, like a gate in the front or something like that.
Yeah, but it kind of goes over the barrier, kills all those people. Enzo Ferrari, which we don't really get to much in the movie, but he goes on trial for, I think, a long time. The trial lasted a long time for his culpability in it, which is just like, because we've seen Ford versus Ferrari now, and now Ferrari, and I'm sure there's some other movie out there that's been made about some part of Enzo Ferrari's life, but there's so much you could dive into, because even like the whole trial and aftermath of like how you rebuild the Ferrari brand after that, and the racing team would be interesting to go into. Ford versus Ferrari is more about like the Le Mans 66, Ford maybe acquiring Ferrari, but then ultimately Ferrari doesn't get acquired by Ford. So like
that is the one that's called Le Mans 66, isn't it?
Yeah. So Enzo Ferrari's life is just so wild that you can attack him from so many angles, and there's still so much untold that I'm sure could be covered in even another movie. But all while this is going on, of him building this racing empire, which you can kind of tell he's so focused on racing first. He's like, we have to sell cars just so we can race. Like all he cares about is racing. But all while this is going on, you have Penelope Cruz, who's kind of just doing like her own investigative sleuthing, trying to uncover his infidelity, seeing where his money's going. Just
a lot of finance talk in this thing.
I do love some finance talk though. I do love some finance talk. I really like it,
because Shailene Woodley is obviously a woman who's having an affair with, has like a whole, not just an affair, like a whole other life with, and family with, and house with. Like it's two existences.
Like, earlier in the movie, that's who he's giving the $25,000 to, right? Earlier in the movie.
But the star,
Shailene Woodley's character, like
Penelope
Cruz's character, and I should know names, but I'm too stupid. He tells Penelope Cruz's character that he needs to give them $25,000, and that like he doesn't like love him or whatever. You're an idiot. Why would you even tell her that? If you're already having a secret family,
because she would be able to see the accounts anyway, wouldn't she?
That's fair.
Because she's involved in the business.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just think there's that to do something like he's doing, not only just with his relationships, but to be that successful in business, you got to have some level of narcissism with you, where you just don't even really think about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
You're kind
for
of more
sure.
focused on your own self,
For
that you're like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't care about these other people.
She won't ask any questions.
This isn't like he's like just like an affair. You know, he's got it's been like 10 years.
They've got like
like a grown up kid with
this
her.
kid is not like Bailey's
a
age.
baby.
This is a kid going to school.
He's like 8 or something. It's crazy.
Like the kid's old enough to be like, am I like not your first kid or whatever?
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it is just it is an interesting way to look at both films from both, you know, Ford versus Ferrari and then Ferrari, because you see Ferrari is very much accompanied by Enzo Ferrari that's selling cars only to race. And then Ford versus Ferrari, you see, is all about Ford is like, we just care about selling cars. And then they're trying to say like, no, we got to get into racing. Like, there's a new thing. So seeing these two companies kind of at the same time in history doing the exact opposite things, but both trying to achieve the same thing of winning races, but having just totally different goals for what their overall companies is. It's very fascinating to watch. And yeah, Adam Driver, he had that interview moment probably a month ago where he's like, oh, fuck you to the guy in the audience. It's like visual effects which is a crazy question that he has. Like,
I love that.
What do you think about the visual effects not looking great? And it's just like, that's the same response I would have too. To be like, what the fuck? Like, do I look like the visual effects artist, like, or the producer? Like, why are you asking me this? I gave one of my best career performances as Enzo Ferrari, and you're talking about the visual effects of one crash scene that is, yeah, the visual effects. I was like, yeah, it doesn't look great, but the moments immediately after are so crazy and visceral that like you just completely forget about the visual effects 0.2 seconds after you see the telephone pole crash, that you're just so focused on your job being on the floor and in utter shock at the imagery on your screen. That is just, like I said, the same thing as Shailene Woodley. It's just so small to the movie that it just did not sway my opinion on it whatsoever. And I just think this toes the line perfectly well of going into his relationships with both Penelope Cruz and Shailene Woodley, having the two families, having Penelope Cruz go on this financial accounting hunt to try and kind of get evidence for what he's been doing and discover his infidelity in his whole other life. Whereas you also have him as a boardroom leader trying to inspire a team and get ready for races and make a successful company, while at the same time having these racing sequences and the racing team with Patrick Dempsey and all the other racers and these awesome action sequences of whether test tracks or the actual final race. So like Cam mentioned, it's a good length. Like, it's just barely over 2 hours, but they pack so much into it. And so often you can have movies with so many threads like this that when it's only 2 hours, you can kind of come away from it being like, oh, they kind of packed too much in. And I don't feel like they did justice to everything. I feel like they did. I feel like everything I tried to set out to do in this movie, I think they achieved well. And overall, it's a great movie. It's a high 4-star for me. I had a great time.
Did you guys
excited to see it again?
Did you guys like that they obviously Mann chose to use Italian accents? Did you prefer that? You think?
Yeah, because
I didn't have an issue with it. Driver, Cruz, and Woodley are all non-Italian, unless I'm wildly mistaken. So
yeah. So my thought process, I've seen a lot of conversations about this. Do you think, like, I mean, it's completely different films and not the same example, but do you think it would have made the experience of Napoleon better if they'd used French accents and stuff like that? Do you think that made a difference in the?
I haven't seen it, but it doesn't sound like that's what's saving the movie.
It's not.
You would be right, but
it's not. But I think it would have added an element of accuracy there when the accuracy wasn't in any of the rest of the film anyway. So I don't know.
With cultures, I think it can be just hard sometimes. I think English, like an American English accent, I feel like is always like if you don't have an American English accent, it's always 100% okay for anyone to come and like do that in a movie. But like going the opposite way of like having like American English actors do other accents, I feel like that's where it can start to get like, interesting. So. I don't know. I feel like the cultural appropriation kind of goes that way. Whereas if anyone like, when British people or Australian people or French, Italian, like anyone does like an American English accent, no one's really going to say like, oh, why are they doing that? But I feel like it can get a little dicey if you're creating your own accent.
It depends who you cast, doesn't it? Like,
right.
I don't even think that, I mean, I'm going, this is not the same review, but like going back to this, I'm the biggest Joaquin Phoenix fan. Like, I don't think he was that great anyway, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? So it depends who you cast. Like, I would prefer Napoleon in general just to be, get a French cast in there.
Right. Yeah.
All Quiet on the Western Front did with German people. It's just easier. I don't know. I just think there needs an element of historical accuracy and realism there. And I kind of appreciated that Mann chose that route, instead of just
And Adam Driver did great as that. I think also his take on Enzo Ferrari's accent isn't the most, it's not a Chris Pratt Italian accent. It's a pretty muted. It's more muted than some crazier Italian accents we've seen. Whereas Shailene Woodley's, I never thought it was necessarily the worst thing in the world, but the problem was like it was always such a very like if she had like a dial for how much Italian her accent was, sometimes it'd be cranked to 11, sometimes it'd be at 0.
Yeah,
like, the thing is, I don't think it was ever like the worst thing, but it was always changing so much. And like sometimes in the same sentence, she would go from the most Italian woman ever to be just like normal English accent.
I thought she was English at some points and stuff. I couldn't like work it out. I thought she was meant to be. And I was like, what the fuck? It kept changing all the time. But it, like you said, it wasn't there enough to really impact my like viewing experience anyway.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else have anything to say on Ferrari?
No, I think I'm gonna go watch it again. I think
officially an 86 out of 100.
Nice.
That's where we land.
So that's a 4.5 star for Cam. It's a 4 star for me. Seth 4.5 star for you, and a 3.5 for George. I'm just looking at my Letterboxd friend Sophie, who's like the biggest Adam Driver fan ever, 2 stars. So that's a tough look for her review of the movie.
No, if Sophie's seen much of Michael Mann. I might be wrong.
Yeah, but
I know some people aren't big fans of him. Like,
I think Ferrari's a technical marvel. I think it succeeds on everything it sets out to do technically. I know I've read a lot of criticism, like I said, about the sound editing might not be the greatest to a more keen ear, but I loved it. Great film. Highly recommend going out to see it, especially because it's one of those that a lot of people like. This happens a lot with a lot of films. A lot of people write them off before they even come out. Like I feel like it's one just a lot of people just determined just wasn't going to be a great movie, and it is. So go watch it, because I don't know why everyone just wrote this off. And it happens, a couple times a year with every movie. There's like a movie that's great, but everyone's already decided it's going to suck.
It is like it was always going to happen though. It's weird because like Tyler, I'd be keen for you to watch now. I know you like it, Black Hat.
I have seen it because that came out when I worked at the movie theater, but it's been, it came out 10 years ago. So that's when I saw it.
Yeah, like 2015, 2014.
Yeah.
It was the same with that, like, and Public Enemies as well, where like the digital age of Mann's filmmaking, people just aren't fans of it. It's kind of weird. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a lot of people aren't fan. It's Michael Mann. It's like, whenever he has a new film coming out, it's people literally love or hate it most of the time. It's one of those kind of things, but I think he's great.
I mean, isn't that kind of the same? It's kind of the same as like more modern Francis Ford Coppola as well. I feel like most people
definitely.
About the Apocalypse Now.
I think it will be the same with like when he comes out with Megalopolis, which is meant to be next year, by the way, and I just don't think he will, because I think it was originally meant to be this year, then he got pushed back, and that's Adam Driver, obviously him starring in it, him leading it. I'm really excited for it, but I don't think it'll be coming out, and I think it'll be the same reaction to that. I can just see it already. Do you know what I mean? It's the same. These classic filmmakers kind of take a different approach that people aren't used to maybe. And people just aren't really into it all the time. Yeah, at this point in 2023, well, I guess people listening is January 1st, 2024. If a movie doesn't have a release date in 2024, I'm going to be very cautious about it actually coming out in 2024. Mickey 17, we're still getting the same picture. That releases in fucking they're going March. The Killers of the Flower Moon route. I don't know. I've just got a bad feeling about it. There's no like teaser, same. It's funny because that really went the whole like arc too, because when that first image came out and we got like the teaser trailer, I was like, this is really, really early for this to be coming out. I'm very surprised they're already releasing. That was like they just stuck ages ago. That was like over a year ago, wasn't it? That was like one of our earliest ReelTok podcasts. I feel like we were talking about that. Bong Joon-ho and how excited we were, and then nothing's changed, and it comes out in 3 months, which is crazy, by the way. But who knows? Cam, Percy Jackson, as someone who hasn't seen anything and barely diving into the discourse, I'm just going to predict. I've seen mixed reactions, but mostly people are more positive than initially maybe expecting. Is that kind of right? Maybe more positive. Yeah, I think the first 2 episodes were really good, really enjoyable. I don't know how many are out. 3. 3? Yeah, the first 2 didn't love the really third. Enjoyable. Didn't love the third. I don't know how big of like Percy Jackson fans you guys are, but Percy Jackson for me was like Harry Potter. I didn't read Harry Potter as a kid, but my mom read the books to me. Obviously that was, a long time ago, but Percy Jackson, probably the only series that I've read like multiple times. I was really into it as a kid. The show is fine. I think the main 3 casting is really great. I think they're doing a fantastic job. The supporting cast is kind of hard, to get behind. I don't love it as much as like the movie, and I don't think the supporting cast is all that amazing, but it's a lot of like small name actors. Like the movie, you had who was it? Josh Brolin. No, someone like Josh Brolin was fucking in it, and now I'm blanking. And I'll look it up right now, but I think I don't like them as much. But I enjoyed the first 2 episodes, and then the third episode was
was just not my favorite.
Did you like? I asked Anna this. I'm just texting her. She
Pierce
said
Brosnan, that's
preferred 1 and 2. But Cam, did you like? Wasn't Medusa in 3? She said she really liked Medusa.
So Medusa's in 3, played by Jessica Parker Kennedy, who is not a big actress, but she was in the Flash TV show, so I know her from that. So, but she was on screen. Did you guys read the books? Did you say?
I've not read them though.
Oh, okay. She wasn't like a big villain by any means in the books, but she was on screen for like 2.5 minutes. She's played by Uma Thurman in the movie, so obviously, like playing by her or being played by her, like gets more time on screen or gets a little bit. Maybe she doesn't, and I'm just misremembering the movies like crazy. And I know this is supposed to be like more faithful adaptation to the books, but there's just no tension in the 3rd episode at all. Like, and I was a big proponent of when the trailers came out. Like, it's a children's movie. It's children's TV show.
That was just George.
George was all mad. But like, it's a young adult. It's young adult books, so it's a young adult show. So we're saying like 12, 13. The books like talk like the way they defeat Medusa is cut off her head. And then you can still use her head to like turn people to stone, right? In the show, they have like Annabeth, the main girl character, she has a hat that like can turn you invisible, useful hat to have. But they put it on Medusa before swinging at the head, which is just like
they put a hat on Medusa.
So like it turns her invisible, and then they cut off her head, so you don't see anything. Not from the book. That's just like how they make it young adult, right? And childish. But like before that, even there's just no tension at all. My dogs are freaking out because like people are just like minding their own business. I don't know how often your dogs do that, Tyler, but my dogs are the worst for it. People are just like doing their own thing in their backyard and they start going crazy. But yeah, it's just frustrating that there's like I understand it being for children or for young adults, but I think I made a TikTok about this week. Like, I think you can show a fake severed head that has like stakes on like you don't have to show blood or anything. They show it in the movies, which are obviously more tuned for maybe older kids, like maybe 15, 16, 17. But I think you could show a 12-year-old, not maybe a real head with blood splattering everywhere. But like it's a fucking head with snakes on it. Like, they obviously know that's not real. It's not going to turn your kid into a serial killer. And if it does, there's definitely
they were predisposed to be a serial
there's
killer.
Other things going on. This is not the thing that turns the kid into a serial killer or gets them really into like cutting off heads. And like when you look at Harry Potter, the first movie, it's lighthearted, but you still get
it's like, not even that the ending. The ending,
the ending's
weird.
Dark and like
you have to choke him out.
It's for children, like it's still PG rated, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty insane that like they didn't show anything, and I'm not saying you have to, but there's no tension because of it. Like, there's literally like they just put the hat on her swing. And then the hat stays on, right? So you like hear the rolling, kind of, but you don't see anything. And then later in the episode, like 1 minute later, they like from a distance show him take off the hat. He uses the like head to turn like bad creature into stone, right? You don't see anything though. And it's just a little frustrating because like people are like not happy with this episode from what I've seen. Also, when your TikToks do well, and I texted you guys this, and like the comment section just changes into like a riot and nothing like what the video is about.
I know that feeling too.
This just got into like how Disney's woke and ruins everything, and I'm like, well, it's not. That wasn't the point. Like, I don't.
What is like the woke thing about this one? Like, did they change the character?
It's probably got
Annabeth
black people.
Black. It's just like, it's like you have ethnicity in your show, and that's woke. Apparently,
it's crazy. People are such morons.
Honestly. People are idiots. But like that was just like a huge uproar on my video, and just all the comments are about that. It's just so idiotic. I was just kind of talking about how, like, I think you could show a 12-year-old like a fake snake haired head. And they'll be just fine, because like in the books it describes it. So it's a young adult book.
Well, think of like Lord of the Rings. Like it's the same thing. I know Lord of the Rings is
Lord of the Rings is not
audience.
young adult, but like
It's got a more mature audience. But at the same time, like you think about the films, like they're still like. Well, I don't know what the equivalent for you is.
There's not like blood
the same
everywhere,
age rating,
flattering, like things like that. Like you don't have to have that to make your show more mature. And there's a big difference between being childish and having your fight scenes like last 1.5 seconds, so there's zero tension at all. And there's just nothing in this episode that like had any tension at all. And I was quite bummed about it because, like I said, huge fan of this franchise. I don't love the movies, but like I think they do some aspects well. And they're obviously not super. They're known to not be like great book adaptations. But they cover the points that you need to hit, right? And I kind of wish the show went a little more into that. Because like I mentioned, like Harry Potter, it starts a little younger, but it's still dark at the end, especially like you mentioned, Seth. And Stranger Things is like a show that was for like younger audiences, but it got popular because it's not like for kids. You're not gonna have. I don't understand the thought process at Disney where they think they're gonna have a big franchise that does well if they're only appealing to 10-year-olds. You need a show that a 10-year-old can watch, but a 20-year-old can get behind a little bit to where like it doesn't have to be much. Again, like there's no blood splattering. There's no like you don't have to cuss or anything during it. You don't have to like hear anything from the severed head. You just like treat it almost as like a ball rolling. And it's not just that, it's just like the fact that this whole episode is basically like they're always like going after a villain that's trying to kill them, and you don't have any sense of like, oh, they could die, you don't have any sense of that. And I think that's the hardest thing about like making it childish is like, how can you get behind this as not like a 10-year-old and have any investment in the show. And then at the end, Lin-Manuel Miranda was teased like a Thanos level character. He's Hermes in the show. So they ship Medusa's head to Mount Olympus as like hey, this person was trying to kill a bunch of Olympians and we killed her, but they ship her head, which that's like a brutal subject in general. You're shipping a severed head. So like, you don't see anything, but it's still there. And then they like tease Lin-Manuel Miranda taking it to Mount Olympus. I'm like, just throw this in the fucking like start of the next episode. No one's sitting on their on their couch going, woo, Lin-Manuel, getting pumped for him. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. And he's got his fingers in the brains of every Disney exec to where he's like, while I'm in the episode, I gotta sing. So he's like singing some elevator tune. It's just stupid.
I think you hit the nail on the head with Stranger Things, though, because obviously massively successful show with, teens, kids, but also, plenty of adults are in love with that show too. I think they just did a perfect balance of whether you love Stranger Things or not. You can't deny, it's been it's perfectly done the appeal to people ages 13 to 50. Like, it can kind of get everyone.
Exactly.
Unrelated, but you have a very pretty cat back there. That cat's very pretty.
Yeah. She is very pretty. She's great. Yeah, it's not something I don't think this show will take off if they still go like this. I'm still a believer you can grow with your audience, and I think they'll try to do that. But I think you got to start a little bit more mature, and maybe season 2 takes a jump. Obviously, like season 1's done. Maybe season 2 takes a jump. We'll see. But I think if season 1 and then season 2 struggle, we're not getting a 3, 4, 5, and then we have the movies again.
Do you think, Cameron, that shout out Joe? He said this to me, and I said he's chatting shit. He said that from the first 2 episodes, this has the potential to be like a much bigger thing than Harry Potter.
No, I like you, Joe. Fucking idiot take.
I already said this to him. Don't worry. I already said this to him. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right. I'll say this.
I've never talked to him, so like, I hope he doesn't get offended by me saying idiot take. But silly take.
I agree.
Well, we only have one trailer this week, but Cam, can you hit us with a jingle?
Hey! It's trailer time. You like that little addition? Did you hear?
Perfect. Yeah, I did. I did get the drums. Perfect. Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver. We obviously talked extensively about Rebel Moon Part 1 last week, so we don't talk too much about this. But has this trailer? I mean, this is a rhetorical question. I feel like, but has this trailer made you more excited for Part 2 than you otherwise were after?
I just don't care anymore. I'm not even going to watch the extended edition. I just don't care about the film.
Just shout out the best tweet of all time, and I sent it to you guys and got immediate ha-has for it. If you start Zack Snyder's movie Rebel Moon at exactly 9:46 p.m. on New Year's Eve, it will sync up perfectly with you turning it off at 10 p.m. because it's just not very good. That all-time tweet, hilarious, man.
The thing is, like, it's coming. Like, we're gonna get bombarded with, watch the Snyder cut. You'll change your whole opinion, and George might be the one to storm that beach and watch that first, and then it'll probably be like Zack Snyder's Justice League, where about 1 to 2 years later, George will finally get us to watch it. We'll probably be like, yeah, okay, it's better. Fine, but
I guarantee it's better. But like, wow, I don't know. I stand by. You just can't do that. You can't make a movie that's shit and half done just because you have another cut coming. And is part 2 gonna have 2 cuts? Like, what?
It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me.
4 movies for 2 movies is just so dumb. Like 8 hours. Let's see. So it'd be 2 and then 4. So there's 6, 12 hours of
Rebel Moon
for 4 for 2 movies is absurd. Yeah, I don't know.
Exciting.
It's just even funnier that he made the comment this week about like how he says the problem with comic book movies nowadays is that they're not self-contained, and it's like you're releasing 4 movies for what?
I liked your tweet, Tyler. That was a good one. Rebel Moon.
But I mean, for the pro Snyder fans and the pro Rebel Moon fans, Netflix announced on Tuesday that it was the most viewed title, generating 23.9 million views in 3 days. So I don't know if that was, I think it might be like the most viewed like debut movie ever for a Netflix original. So good for them.
There's one movie like Murder Mystery or something that has absurd views, man.
Yeah, maybe this is just like
stats are always like that Night Agent show.
They're lying, man. They're lying.
No, they're not though, because I know people like the Night Agent show, for example. I've not spoken to anyone in the film industry, but then like Anna watched it, my mum watched it. These things do crazy well outside of like us. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like,
yeah. I posted a video on like the top most watched shows of the year on Netflix, and I was like, I never even heard of anyone watched The Night Agent. My comments are flooded with people being like,
"You never heard of The
phenomenal."
Night Agent? Oh shit.
Well, I've heard of it, but I never heard of anyone watching it. Look at that. I know. All my comments were like, no, it's great. I love it. It's like,
it's Red Notice. That's the movie that I was thinking of.
Oh shit, the one with
it's allegedly got 500 million viewing hours, which is just absurd.
Oh, that's the one. Fuck me.
You know what Netflix is gonna do too? They're gonna combine the viewing hours of both Rebel Moon cuts and say that they had like 200 billion hours of viewing hours or whatever. God, Don't Look Up is in second. Shout out Adam McKay. I like that.
Jumping into movie news, pretty light this week, but unfortunate news. Lee Sung-kyun, best known for his role in Parasite, passed away at the age of 48. It was amid a drug investigation. I went down a deep rabbit hole of South Korean drug laws, and it's a very serious thing there. Obviously, in America here we have so many people locked up unjustly for drug charges, but South Korea is almost just like a whole new level in terms of how much it can ruin people's lives. We reviewed Burning on Real Quick earlier this year. Yu Ah-in, the main guy in Burning, kind of going opposite Steven Yeun. He's facing trial right now for drug charges in South Korea as well. So like, just hope he makes it through okay, because it's one of those things like if you smoke weed there, it's a very serious thing, and that's just unfortunate. And I wish I wrote it down, but there's a couple other examples of notable actors, South Korean actors, that have taken their own lives as well due to drug investigation charges. Very serious stuff. So devastating to hear about Lee Sung-kyun, obviously phenomenal actor, and 48 is just way too young. And then of course, definitely thinking about Yu Ah-in I know him from Burning. I'm sure he's been on other stuff and is great. Thinking about him too, as he's currently facing charges for the same thing, drug use in South Korea. So just very tough, disappointing news. But on somewhat more of a lighter note, Jeremy Renner is returning to work just under a year after his severe snowplow accident that almost took his leg and took his life. So great for him. Glad to see he's been able to bounce back from that really devastating injury. Kind of less devastating actor news, but devastating, I guess, if you're a Christopher Landon fan. He exits as director of Scream 7, which means Scream 7 now has no director and no cast.
Good.
It's just such a massive IP. I don't think they're going to can it, but I have no clue what you do at this point. Like, there's no way that Scream 7 is going to come out next year, which I think initially was a plan.
No shot. I like your ebbing and flowing right now with movie news, Tyler. You're really going back and forth on this one with good, bad news.
I tried to line them up in a way where it's like, I don't want to just be too down in the dumps and look at some of the bright sides. But Christopher Landon out, and just rewatching the final scene of Scream 6 too, it's like, which shout out Melissa Barrera for standing on business and staying out of the Scream franchise and not coming back. But the way, like, I'm thinking from a Scream executive standpoint, they couldn't have ended it worse. Like, same thing with the Jonathan Majors with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Couldn't have ended it worse for having to like
Loki
have
does
a new
tie it
actor.
up a little bit. Just Loki's helpful. I know you haven't watched it.
Yeah,
but
fair.
Loki season 2 kind of ties.
Oh, I thought you were saying low key.
Yeah, same. I did too. And I was like, I don't know. Melissa Barrera at the end of Scream 6, I thought was about to have a massive impact in Scream 7.
Just going on a Marvel tangent, like they very clearly, I think, knew something was up, like, or changed something at the end of Loki to give it an opportunity to tie it in a bow.
Yeah.
So I think they'll figure it out. MCU in a different shambles right now, but I just wanted to say that.
Well, yeah, Scream, who knows what will come of it. I'm a huge fan of the Scream franchise, but obviously not really excited for the future of it.
I'm not watching this shit.
Alex Garland's Civil War has a runtime of 1 hour and 49 minutes, not 3 hours and 15 minutes as IMDb reported, which I'm still going to watch it. I'm still interested in the movie, but it disappointed me a little bit because 1 hour 49 is like bordering on like a very short runtime. And the fact that the trailer looked so generic, and, you know, we talked about it when we talked about the trailer, I was like, maybe there's going to be some sci-fi, huge Alex Garland level twist, but I'm really starting to think this is going to be a Purge-esque type movie.
You know,
God, it'd be better than fucking Mann anyway. Who knows?
Yeah, gotta be. You know who's great in Killers of the Flower Moon is Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons is great in like everything, man.
Yeah, he is great in everything, obviously, but obviously he's in Civil War. And I kind of thought about that. I didn't think I touched on that. He's great. He's awesome, man.
Yeah. I mean, the cast is—it's got like Kaylee Spaley in, I think, as well. Like Kirsten Dunst, they come as like a pair.
Cast,
Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons, and then there's a few other people as well. Like, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm not one of those people who just cuts off a director. But Mann was so tone deaf, shit, nonsense, twat, awful shit.
Sorry, the vagina on the back.
What
you are?
Remember the vagina on the back of the?
It's
body?
just man. I just. But then, have you seen his other two films? I think his other two films are great. Like, really.
That's honestly my first.
Yes, that's not a good impression to have because like his first Ex Machina and Annihilation are both like, obviously if George was here, so he's a massive fan of both, but like Tyler, especially you, I think you'd really Ex Machina. I think you'd love, and it's got your boy in it. It's got Domhnall Gleeson as the main guy as well.
I need to get on it because I'm familiar with. I've seen quite a few Alex Garland movies in terms of ones he's written, and I love him. Like 28 Days Later, Sunshine's one of my favorites that I just watched this past year. But yeah, in terms of directing, Mann was his third.
Definitely
watched the first two.
Mann was the first, and then Ex Machina, I think Ex Machina was the first. And he did Annihilation with like Natalie Portman. I think they're both great, like as sci-fis, and I mean that's probably a good sign because obviously this Civil War is like a kind of a big action war sci-fi epic, I guess. So I think this is a better sign than him trying to do horror again because I think that was shit. That's what it is.
Yeah, I can't. So I saw the trailer in theaters for the first time when I went to see the Iron Claw, which already is a very like dad movie. So the theater was very like dad age. So when the Civil War trailer came out, they were very interested in it because I think this movie will do pretty well at the box office. I don't know if it'll do like buku numbers based on what the budget is, but I think this is going to tap in exactly what they were trying to do.
A24 movie, is that right?
By a long shot. So I think it's going to tap into like the election year coming up pretty well, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to be $1 billion close to. Because
is your election next year?
Yeah, end of next year.
Oh yeah, I thought it was 2026.
So I think obviously the timing of this movie is very deliberate.
Yeah.
Final piece of news is just a minor funny thing I want to throw in is Harris Dickinson says he was only given a short amount of time to gain muscle for the Iron Claw. I can't remember what bit of news we had a couple weeks ago about someone saying they didn't have enough time to prepare for something, and it was just kind of funny to be like after the fact, be like, guys, just so you know, like I wasn't fully able to prepare, and I can't remember what the parallel was. I was trying to make it that news, but because Jeremy Allen White is jacked in the Iron Claw, and obviously Zac Efron, and Harris Dickinson, like he looks great in it, but he's not their level. So it's just kind of like a funny bit of news. Be like, guys, I didn't have that much time to prepare for this role.
Is he good? I love Harris. I think he's so good.
Yeah, I think he's really great in everything, but he's also great in this.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is too, like the Von Erich brothers in real life are just like 6'4" and like jacked beyond belief. So like they got jacked up for this movie, but at the end of the day, these are all like 5'7" actors, and they're playing.
I was going to say,
all
are the actors because actors are notably very short.
No, like Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson might be. Harris Dickinson, Jeremy Allen White and Zac Efron are definitely very not tall.
Yeah, I think Harris Dickinson
is like 5'4", so I got to think they're short too. Oh.
Yeah, but Just kind of funny just to be like, guys, I didn't have
did
enough time to
see-
prepare for this.
I saw Zac Efron just roided out of his fucking mind. That guy's body is crazy. That is a fucking. I mean, he's got a sexy body. What can I say? He looks very, very
What's
good.
the name of the guy who plays Thad Castle, who's also in Jack Reacher?
Oh my god!
Is it Alan? What's his name?
Alan
Alan
shit.
Arkin? Not
Alan
Alan
Rickman.
Arkin. That's the old guy. Alan Rickman.
Rickman.
No.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, Alan Rick. No, that's
No, Alan.
Let me check. I've got
Alan
to go.
Rickman is Snape.
Alan Richson. Alan
Richardson.
Richardson.
Okay. Yeah, I saw an interview with
He-
him saying he never has taken steroids until season 2 of Reacher.
That's
I'm like,
dude. There's
What the
no
fuck are
way
we
he
talking
hasn't.
about?
Yeah.
That dude is
He-
like bigger than his arms are bigger than my.
and the
His
proportions are the crazy.
His head doesn't fit his body. It's the
Yeah,
weirdest.
no,
You see him in like Fast X, for example. That was crazy. In like the polo. He's like the ultimate like mega chad. I swear. It's
I
ridiculous.
like him because he seems like a really nice guy, but the interview is one of the most like annoying actor
I
interviews
like
where
him.
He did the no,
Yeah.
I like him a lot too, but he did the
They
classic
have
like
to have in
they're
their-
like, "What's
in
your
their
secret?" And he's
contract.
like, "You know, he's like just 45 minutes in the gym, and like I eat pizza for lunch, and that's about it." Like a classic, like
It was
I don't
like
do that much, and I look like this type.
Do you know
of
when
interview.
Michael B. Jordan did the first Creed and he had like that crazy transformation? He went on like Radio 1, which is the main station here, and he was like, "Oh, just if you just drink 4 liters of water, a gallon of water, chicken and veg a day, you'll get to where I am." It's like, no, you fucking won't, you idiot. Like, no
I
one
swear,
knows
like,
how it
all-
works.
All these juiced actors, I swear, have a group chat with each other, and they just like who can say the funniest thing in the interview as like the reason they're this.
That's like the
jacked.
reason, yeah. Like,
It's like, I
I
swear,
think it
like,
was
yeah.
Chris Evans when he did. Sorry, Bradley Cooper when he did American Sniper, and he was just saying like he trained 4 hours a day. I was like, that'd lose you muscle if anything. No one
Yeah,
trains
because he
4
bulked
hours
up. Like
a
he
day.
gained a lot of like fat. Like he obviously looked great, but he gained a lot of like fat
Yeah,
body weight
yeah,
too
yeah.
for that role too. But yeah, just funny because so many of these actors are juicing. And Alan Richardson, you're
Every
not
actor-
fooling anybody. You're not.
I'll
fooling
tell you right now, every Hollywood actor who plays any role like that is on steroids. That's a fact. That's a
Mhm.
fact. So
Yeah.
just if you're listening, don't set your body standards to those people because you won't be reaching them
Retweet very bad body standards, but
unless you're Cam, who's just got the physique of a very
Young
chad.
guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure they had different stuff around back when Christian Bale was doing all his weight losses. But man, I bet he wishes like Ozempic was a thing back then to help him out when he's trying to lose the weight for the machinist and give him a little bit of
Yeah.
boost to losing that weight. But I'm sure he's just
his
on
machinist
something.
physique was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Stuff
absolutely
like that.
crazy. But we've gotten to the time that I think everyone's been waiting for. At least I've been waiting for. I'm really excited to share these with you. The ReelTok Award nominations are going to be revealed. We have 20 categories, and we have in visual form. So if you're listening on audio, maybe you want to jump over to
YouTube.
the video version. Let me share this screen. The ReelTok Award nominations, and we'll just reveal them one by one, going category by category, kind of building
I
up.
like this.
I like this.
Yeah, this should be fun. So last year, I think we probably had like a week or two runtime before the ReelTok Awards where we like
Yeah.
thought of the idea of the ReelTok Awards. We're like, oh, we should do like an award show. So I'd say time and time again, I thought our award show went great last year. And I'm still like looking back a year ago, like I'm still very happy with our winners. Like,
For sure.
yeah, all our winners I thought were like better than the Oscar winners for all these.
Yeah,
awards.
definitely.
We gave a lot more love to After Sun. But yeah, so now this year though, I'm really proud of all our nominees. I think we did a great job in all these categories. A lot of fun categories as well. So
Me
how
and
this
Cam
is gonna
don't know these, by the way. We
Yep.
haven't
So
seen these.
how it worked is I sent all 3 of them and then me obviously ballots to just list like your ranking of each category, and then I compile all of our overall rankings, scored them, and took the top 10 for best picture and worst picture, top 6 for best director, best actor, and best actress, and then 5 nominees for each other category. How this is going to work is the ballots are available in the description down below. Again, if you're a patron, go to Patreon for your specific ballot because you're going to be counted for more. I mean, if you want to do the social media one, that's fine, but the one on Patreon is going to get your vote weighted more than the other one otherwise would have. So go check out Patreon down below. There's a perfect time to join. And this is January 1st. We're releasing our nominees. Voting is going to happen for 2 weeks. And then on January 14th on ReelTok episode 70 is going to be our award show when we're going to reveal these. It's going to be a black tie event. You got to dress up even to listen to it.
Hey.
Wear your Sunday best. And yeah, it's going to be a real fun show. We have a lot planned for it to make it a lot more of like a production this year. So I hope it turns out well, but we have a lot of stuff cooking in the background. But let's jump into this. ReelTok Award nominees for funniest film. We're going to reveal them one by one. Funniest film of the year, ReelTok Award nominees. Barbie is our first nominee.
Hell yeah.
Dungeons
Yeah.
and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves.
Boom.
You don't
Shut
like
your mouth.
Dungeons and
Funniest film of the
Dragons?
year. Funniest film of the year.
I didn't find it that funny, I'll be honest.
Yeah, but
Barbie,
you find it
Dungeons
funny,
and
bitch.
Dragons, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has also been nominated for Funniest Film of the Year.
Heck yeah.
The Killer made the cut as the Funniest Film of the Year, which I think is just an incredibly underrated comedy from people who haven't seen it yet, just don't realize how funny it really is. And the final nominee, Wonka, funniest film. So our nominees for Funniest Film of the Year are Barbie, Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Killer, and Wonka. I think that's a strong lineup for Funniest Film of the Year.
Yeah, that is actually. Yeah, that's a really good lineup. Really.
Our award show's based. Next category.
The Meg 2 was on mine and didn't make the cut, unfortunately.
Did not. There's a lot of. I mean, obviously,
Birds of Prey in there. I think.
There's a lot of movies. Obviously, we all voted for that didn't make the cut because the big thing is obviously, which is the point of the ReelTok Awards, which I guess I'll say time and time again, is that there's stuff we love that maybe only one of us has seen, which again, just like we all can't see everything. A lot of stuff too, like is getting limited releases. There's a lot of December releases that are going to be suffering. There's a lot of international film. I'll repeat it before we get to there. That's the big thing where there's so much international films, many international films that have just not been released at all. That is just, it's tough to try to make the category. So there's stuff that probably should have been included that a year from now will be like, how did that not get included? But at the end of the day, we can only judge what we've seen. Best horror film of the year, ReelTok Award nominees. First nominee, Evil Dead Rise, making it into the rankings of the final 5.
Yeah.
Cam, I don't think you've seen it, but
no, I told you, I texted you guys just throw out my horror ballot this year.
Have you seen Talk to Me, Cam?
No. When I like filtered my letterbox like 2023 rankings and then filtered it for horror,
Knock at the Cabin was like the only
it's tough. No, we'll see if anything comes up, but I'll explain it after.
But yeah, well, now for all of us listening and all you listening at home, like if you haven't seen movies that we have on our nominees, like try over the next 2 weeks, including like you host and George listening, try and prioritize these movies so you can give a proper ballot.
I'm going to be honest, the horror category might not be
the second nominee for best horror film of the year, Knock at the Cabin. M. Night Shyamalan's not.
It's not a horror, but yeah,
it's more thriller for me. But again, we talk about this time and time again. Genres are just tough, but we wanted at least to shout out horror and comedy.
I put it down on
horror film because there's so many times where those films just won't really contend in other categories. So you want to give them a shout out.
Best
Talk
Picture.
to Me.
Yes.
Talk to Me. Also, best horror film of the year. Thanksgiving. Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, and the final nominee for best horror.
Wait, what?
Let's see if I may
do it. Tyler.
When Evil Lurks. Yes, cool. When Evil Lurks. So Evil Dead Rise, Knock at the Cabin, Talk to Me, Thanksgiving, When Evil Lurks. I think it's a great lineup of best horror films of the year. I would have preferred Saw 10 over Evil Dead Rise, but I think overall it's a good list.
That's my 5.
I'm realizing I didn't have Thanksgiving on my rankings, so I'm sorry for snubbing Thanksgiving. But
well, it's still a nominee.
I'm glad it got nommed.
Next category is the best comic book film of the year. First nominee, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
I haven't seen it.
Well, now you know what you can watch for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, which actually it's a fun movie.
So I think everyone in general has been positive about it.
Yeah.
Second nominee is Blue Beetle.
I put this down. I get it 2.5, but I put that down.
Third nominee, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Hell yeah.
Worst one of the year. Yeah, whatever.
Hell yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in the 4th.
Hell yeah.
And The Killer in the 5th spot. So we were the real close. Like The Flash just got snubbed, and that just speaks to. I
put the Marvels on mine.
I didn't love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, but I can admit, like a lot of other people do love it, so that's fine. But Blue Beetle was kind of the one that was like, just kind of made the bump because the fifth one was hard to find, but really the top 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and The Killer are kind of leaps and bounds above.
I wouldn't even say that, Tyler. I'd say like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from reception is much higher than The Killer, from like what I see on ratings and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Actually, that role received. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but the Flash was the 6th spot that just got barely cut, and that's just how competitively
people
bad
that are mad about that one. There are going to be people that are
Flash would have got people mad that it's on there or mad that it's not.
George is seething right now. The Flash isn't on there. Sorry, George.
The ReelTok Award nominees for Best Stunt Ensemble of the Year, category that needs to be added to the Oscars, but it's not, to recognize just incredible stunts and action sequences we see throughout the year. First nominee. Also, for people tracking at home, this isn't in alphabetical order by movie or name or anything. So, like when they're just random orders. So, first, Creed 3, best ensemble. Creed 3.
I didn't know. I'm glad I got this right. I didn't really know if we were doing movie or if I was supposed to like look up specific stunt men or stunt women.
No, that's the same
so
thing for
I'm glad
visual
I got
effects
this
too.
right.
You're kind of just going by the movie
Yeah,
because
yeah.
visual effects. I mean, cinematographer, there's like a cinematographer, costume designer, there's like a lead
Yeah.
costume designer, but visual effects is always like a team of like 6 people listed on the award.
Okay.
So I was just like, we're just gonna stick to the movie.
I'm glad I
Wait,
got it.
do we have to name the person for cinematographer? Because I didn't.
I don't worry. I
did
did all
not.
the work yesterday. Don't worry.
Okay, cool.
Creed 3, second nominee, Extraction 2. See, that's why I like categories like this because Extraction 2's action deserved, some
Forgot about it,
recognition,
so
but
hell
obviously it
yeah.
wasn't going to be
Best
nominated
screenplay.
anywhere else.
I'm glad it made it because I definitely
John Wick 4, of course. I think there's one other one that's just an obvious one for this year, and that's Mission Impossible:
Yeah.
Dead Reckoning.
hell yeah.
Part
That's
1.
the one. That's the 1 and 2 right there. Like it has
And
to
the
be.
final is The Killer. So obviously
Yes.
that fight sequence was
Okay.
incredible. I think it was a great lineup of best stunt ensembles. One that just missed the cut was Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves, but
Perfect lineup.
like I said, I think so far our
I think
nominees
that's
are
perfect, yeah.
these categories
My
are
top 4
good
made it.
categories. These are strong
Perfect
categories.
lineup. Perfect
Big
lineup.
fan. Big fan.
Best visual effects of 2023. 5 nominees. The first, Godzilla -1.
Easy.
Incredible for what they were able to do with their
Hell
budget.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Crazy.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. For a year where we were just filled
Marvel's
with just some of the
back.
worst comic book movie visual effects pieces, The Flash specifically. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I don't really remember any issues I have with the visual effects.
Marvel's so back.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oppenheimer, we are better than the
Obviously.
Hell yeah.
Oscars.
Yeah.
Was it even the short list or was it even the long list that it wasn't even included in visual effects? Like just crazy. It's like
Big
Yeah.
idiots over
Yeah.
there.
crazy.
It's got to be because it's going to be nominated for so many other things. Like, there's got to be a reason they've not put it down. 'Cause
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense.
And the final one, The Creator. We
Oh,
are
yeah,
all
of course.
disappointed with this one this year, but no one can deny the visuals are
Visually,
incredible.
it's great.
The
Yeah,
Creator.
visually, great.
So Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Oppenheimer, and The Creator are our nominees for best
Perfect
visual effects.
list.
Next category, best costume design. First
There's an
nominee,
obvious number 1.
Wonka, Linda Hemming for Wonka.
Charlinda.
Hell yeah.
Barbie, Jacqueline Duran for Barbie.
Charlotte.
Also, hell yeah.
Great costumes in Barbie.
Charlotte
Yeah, for
Jacqueline.
sure.
Charlotte Jacqueline.
Holly Waddington for Poor Things.
Oh, Holly. Makes sense. I haven't seen it. Makes sense.
Jacqueline West for Killers
Get
of the
the
Flower
fuck out
Moon.
of here.
So there's 2 Jacquelines. We got Duran and West. So Jacqueline, strong name in the costume.
I don't
design.
hate it. I don't hate
And
it.
Asteroid
What?
City is the final one. Which one are you upset got
No,
snubbed?
Napoleon's crazy in costume design.
Napoleon was
That's
snubbed.
absurd.
I didn't put it on because I haven't seen it, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
Tyler, you back me up. That's absurd. I can't believe this. Oh,
The first snub of the evening is Napoleon not being
That's
awarded for best costume design.
absurd.
It ended in number 7th in our rankings.
Barbie, that's
There was
crazy talk.
15 total films that made the short list. 7th was Napoleon. Maestro was right above it, but
George hasn't seen Napoleon either.
yeah, we can
Oh.
only go based off of what we've seen.
I will say there are a lot of, if things got like big buzz, like I threw them on my list if I haven't seen them yet, because my goal is to see everything before the awards.
But Napoleon's the costumes and the
sorry.
setups and the production was the only really great thing about it.
I'm sorry.
Nah.
Ridley Scott, tough pill to swallow for your
Oh,
costume
sadly,
designing
though.
team. But Wonka, Barbie, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Asteroid City are our nominees for best costume design. Now we're on to best production design. Our 5 nominees are
Asteroid City.
Asteroid City, Adam Stockhausen,
Yeah, Adam, number 1.
Deserve.
Love that.
Sarah Greenwood for Barbie.
Deserve.
Incredible.
If
incredible
Napoleon doesn't
practical
get on this
design.
as well, it won't, obviously. Whatever.
Shauna Heath for Poor
Deserve.
Things.
Shona.
Ruth DeYoung for Oppenheimer.
Deserved.
And Nathan Crowley for Wonka.
Set
Got
the
it.
best. Napoleon.
I didn't even love. I give Napoleon like a 3-star. But if there's one thing that it just did so well was his design, his costumes, its layout. That's crazy.
This for Napoleon for this one was in 6th place, just barely missing the cut.
I'd have it over all of these except 1.
I gave it was 3 on my rankings. So but Barbie and Poor Things I think are just like the clear 2.
I haven't seen Poor Things. I'd have Asteroid City maybe over it. That's only it.
When does that come out in the UK? We got to get you a screener.
I'm seeing it on the 7th actually.
Oh,
so in a week.
perfect! And that's perfect,
soon.
Seth. I love that. We're gonna get you. You can vote for it or not in these nominees. Best cinematography. The nominees are for best cinematography of the year.
Yeah.
Robert Yeoman for Asteroid City.
Ciao, Rob.
I feel like the Oscars are about to snub Asteroid City like crazy, but this might be our after sun moment of the year where Asteroid City we're giving love to that. I don't think it's going to be nominated for like anything at this rate. Honestly.
Asteroid City might be our Banshees, Tyler. You never know.
That could be. Eric Messerschmidt for Ferrari, best cinematography. Rodrigo Prieto, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Absolutely.
Hoyt van Hoytema, Oppenheimer,
I swear to Christ. Oh my.
and Robbie Ryan for Poor Things.
My number one.
Napoleon is our this year. Oh, is it?
No. The Killer, I think, had the best cinematography of the year. The Killer's cinematography is crazy.
That was well, I guess that wasn't that high.
That was my number one. That's crazy. Oh,
but Eric Messerschmidt still got nominated though. He got nominated for Ferrari.
Yeah, true.
The ones that were right on the outside looking in were The Creator, which cinematography and visual effects it was strong on. Past Lives and The Killer were the ones that missed.
The Killer I may have snubbed, I'll be honest. Like thinking about it, I am sorry.
I think that I'd like some of the best shots of the year. Like it was absurd how good that looked.
Well, again, Eric, it's okay. You're still nominated in the ReelTok Awards for Ferrari.
You had a second best film in there. I'll take it.
Best score of the year, best original score. We got 5 nominees. Godzilla -1.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Godzilla scores always bang. Always.
Godzilla -1 score. Naoki Sato. I have this on my other screen. Killers of the Flower Moon. Robbie Robertson.
Shout out, Robbie.
That just opening score, that song at the very beginning of the movie that hits when the oil hits, just a banger.
So good.
Daniel Pemberton for Across the Spider-Verse. Every time I see live performances of this, I just need to see it for myself. It's just so incredible. The guitar
it looks amazing. Yeah, definitely. Oh no.
Oppenheimer, Ludwig Göransson.
So deserved.
And the final nominee, Joe Hisaishi for The Boy and the Heron, which is one of my favorite scores of the year for sure. Like I said, this isn't in any alphabetical or anything. These are random orders. So
I know. I just get worried because like these are my big ones. That was my number 2, I think. Boy and the Heron.
I think it was good. And also when I sent them to Mateo, I didn't put like our rankings of him for anything either, so he doesn't know what like is like the top score of these 5 or whatever. But I'm trying to see what I put for The Boy and the Heron. Yeah, for me that was number 3 for me. So yeah, I really love that score. Now we're on to best international film. Again, I'll say this caveat once again that this is the toughest category because so many things are not available in America, not available in the UK unless you went to the London Film Festival.
Like Monster. People are going to be upset with Monster.
Which I tried everything I could this whole week because I've been very resourceful, I'll say, to watch a lot of these Oscar movies that otherwise I wouldn't be able to see this year. And I tried for everything, believe me. But, you know, at the end of the day, if you want to be nominated for the ReelTok Awards, you got to send us those screeners so we can watch it.
Send us your movie.
First,
we'll watch them. First
nominee, Anatomy of a Fall. Sandra Huller getting a lot of buzz for this one, but directed by Justine Triet.
Is that an international film?
Yeah, it's French.
Yeah. I thought it was in English for some reason.
There's a lot of English in it, but it's France.
Is it a French production? Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely French production. Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
The best international film. Out of Japan. Perfect Days. Wim Wenders' latest film, which George rated very highly, and I'm going to be watching tonight, so I'm excited to be able to take that off to be able to see this.
Shout out, Wim.
Suzume, best international film nominee.
I forgot that on my thing, and I've seen it.
And then the final one, I think we all kind of know, The Boy and the Heron. So Anatomy of a Fall, Godzilla -1, Perfect Days, Suzume, The Boy and the Heron are the nominees. There's a lot that George and Seth both had that they nominated that just the rest of us just hadn't seen. Because
When Evil Lurks. Shit.
When Evil Lurks was the one just on the outside looking in that just missed. But overall, those are the nominees for Best International Film. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So next we got Best Animated Film of the Year, which Cam, what do you think of this year on animation as a whole? Good year, bad year, mid year?
Not great. Couple good ones here and there.
Two great ones.
I haven't seen a lot of people like Nimona.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I think it's similar to comic book movies for this year, where it was like huge heavy hitters.
I was like giving like 2.5s and 3s in this because like there's only two that I've seen.
I'm normally super hot. Like Pixar didn't have anything good. Like
Elemental was so mid.
Actually, I take that back. I liked Elemental, so I take that back. Maybe
it's the first nominee. So
hell yeah,
shout out to Elemental. Pixar gets on the board with Elemental.
Something good.
Next nominee, Nimona, which if you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it because I do think it's very good. Me and George were the ones kind of high on this one that pushed it to the voting. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, an obvious one. There's one other obvious one on here as well. Suzume as well. And then The Boy and the Heron. So
wow, no, Dawn of the Nugget, crazy.
Dawn of the Nugget was just the one barely on the outside looking in. But Elemental, Nimona, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Suzume, and The Boy and the Heron. I didn't hate Elemental. I thought it was mid, but the other 4 I genuinely do really like. So if any of those win, I'd be happy. But I think The Boy and the Heron and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse are the heaviest hitters there. But Nimona, don't sleep on Nimona. If you're listening to this and haven't seen it, go watch it so you can vote properly for the best animated film at the ReelTok Awards. Now for worst picture of the year, we got 10 nominees.
My favorite category.
Cam's favorite category. We had a total of actually not as many as I thought. We had, this might be my filtered down list, but our short list has 17 films on it. I think there was probably 30-ish or so combined between the 4 of us for our long list. But the first nominee for worst film of the year, worst picture, 65. Adam Driver
was my number 10.
It was
not too bad. They just missed out on one. Not too bad.
Yeah, Cam and me were the ones voting for that one. I hated it obviously a lot on this podcast. So my hatred for it got its nominations. So shout out to you. Who was it? That Lord Miller, was that who made this movie? Shout out to you guys for getting in the worst picture. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which every time I say on TikTok I hate because I can't say wasp for the life of me. It's just such a hard word to say.
Hard word, sure.
Saying Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania over and over just gets to be too much. At Midnight, shout out to friend of the show.
He was great in this. He really was.
He really was for his 3.2 seconds.
He did his TikTok review, and he was amazing in it.
Shout out Sammy J Reacts, another fan of the show or a friend of the show who was on an episode. He posted that tweet last night. He's like, rank the TikTokers featured in movies. Which
he posted a video
4 of them, which good for them getting spots in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Fast 10, Fast X. Nominated for worst picture of the year, which I had a lot of fun with. I do not. I do not approve of worst picture nomination.
That was on mine.
It's okay.
Yeah, that was on mine.
Five Nights at Freddy's made the nomination list. It's gonna ruffle some feathers, but Five Nights at Freddy's is the worst picture nominee.
Bad movie.
Flamin' Hot.
Yeah, fuck this film. Shit, terrible.
Oh,
man. Terrible.
Oh, George too. This one got 3 votes across the board. So, Flamin' Hot making the worst picture. Ghosted. Yes. This is one of those that from the second it was released, you could predict it was going to end up on the worst picture of the year list.
Ghosted.
The Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, terrible.
Massive flop.
Awful.
Not good whatsoever. Heart of Stone. Gal Gadot's movie for Netflix. And Skinamarink. Rounding up the top 10.
Oh, I feel bad for Skinamarink.
It made 135 times its budget. Don't feel bad for this movie. That dude is
real good for Skinner. I didn't even like it, to be fair, but good for that.
It was $15,000 and made $2 million. So
did it make $2 million? That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, Kyle Edward Ball's got a very bright future too in horror. Like he's gotten a lot of.
I get it. It's original. Doesn't mean it's good.
I didn't love Skinamarink. It's still not in my bottom probably 30 of the year, but that speaks to more of the volume.
George and I bringing it down?
It was George and you, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's like my 30th worst movie of the year. Something like that. Maybe even higher, honestly. Maybe like 40th, but that's just more speaks to all the shit I've watched this year. But these are the nominees. 65, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, At Midnight, Fast 10, Five Nights at Freddy's, Flamin' Hot, Ghosted, The Haunted Mansion, Heart of Stone, and Skinamarink. Next category we have is Best Adapted Screenplay. And let me just pull.
I do some research on this. I always forget what's the original.
Yep, I definitely had to as well. Best Adapted Screenplay, first nominee, Eric Roth, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. Just getting my. Okay. Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer.
Schloppenheimer.
Tony McNamara, Poor Things. Sophia Coppola, Priscilla. And Andrew Kevin Walker for The Killer.
No Ferrari. We were just bigging up so much. What are we doing here, boys?
Ferrari missed. Ferrari was.
What are we doing?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I think these are 5 great nominees. I think once you see Poor Things, Seth, you might be on board.
Yeah, but I'd have Ferrari over The Killer, Priscilla, maybe Oppenheimer. Not now, but I'd have them over 2 of them. Poor Things I haven't seen.
I don't know if I would.
Cam, have you seen Priscilla?
Nope. I'm excited to watch it though.
Yeah, it's good.
I know they said it's coming out on Max at some point, but Priscilla is like one of my favorites of the year. I'm very high on Priscilla. Best Original Screenplay. Arthur Harari for Anatomy of a Fall.
Should be Arthur Ferrari.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson, Asteroid City.
Yeah. Made my short list.
Sammy Birch.
Yeah.
May, December.
Yeah.
Celine Song, Past Lives.
Yep.
And David Hemmingson for The Holdovers.
Hell yeah. My top 3.
No
Snubbed was Air, Tyler. I don't know if you had that on
Air.
Air ended up in 9th place. The ones just missing were The Boy and the Heron.
Wow.
And Boy and the Heron, John Wick Chapter 4, which John Wick Chapter 4 I think would technically be an adapted screenplay, but Air, Barbie, which I guess Barbie is the original screenplay. The Iron Claw, I was the only one voting for that, but so that's way down on the list. But so
did no one else vote for Knock at the Cabin? No Knock at the Cabin lovers for adapted? No Knock at the Cabin lovers?
Let's see, where was that adapted? No, that was below Godzilla -1 and
Only me then.
Best original screenplay nominees were Anatomy of a Fall, Asteroid City, May December, Past Lives, and The Holdovers. Now we're on to Best Supporting Actor of the Year. Getting into the meat and potatoes categories. Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer.
Come on.
Big win for Cameron.
He was in my top 3.
Ryan Gosling for Barbie, which after rewatching it, I can't deny one of my.
He's so great.
So
he's awesome.
He's so
I didn't love him.
He's so good in it.
Really, I think he's phenomenal.
He's good. I wouldn't have him like. Oh, that's the boy right there, Charles Melton.
Yeah, he's my favorite of the year. Charles Melton for May December.
My number 2.
Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. From your hater to your ally, Mark Ruffalo getting nominated for ReelTok Award. And then Dominic Sessa for The Holdovers.
Just
4 or 5.
Those were my top 5. I'm peak. I'm the man.
Matt Damon, Paul Mescal, Robert De Niro were the 3 that kind of just messed out. George also gave a lot of love to Harry Melling, which for what the shit? That Christian Bale movie.
Am I an idiot? I had Matt Damon in the actor category.
Supporting actor, you got some love for Oppenheimer.
I had him for A.
Wait, Tyler, what did I put down? I didn't get in. Did I not say anything else?
For what?
For supporting.
Jacob Elordi.
Oh yeah, I had Jacob Elordi for Priscilla. I did really like him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? That makes sense. Oh no. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Best supporting actress. I will say, Seth, you voted Lily Gladstone for this. She's in the best actress category, so don't be surprised when you don't see Lily Gladstone on this. She's going for lead actress this year, not supporting.
Oh, it's too confusing. I don't fucking know this shit.
No, but I just wanted to get the cart ahead of the horse here, so you didn't feel like it was a snub.
As long as she's there.
Best supporting actresses, we have Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Davine Joy Randolph, The Holdovers, Rachel McAdams, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Hell yeah.
Julianne Moore, May December, and Penelope Cruz.
Yeah. Did all of mine miss? I think I gave I don't even know what I gave now. That's
you got Emily Blunt and Penelope Cruz were on yours, and you had Scarlett Johansson, Vanessa Kirby. But yeah,
who did I have other than that?
I would need to pull up a separate sheet. I just have our short list here of what the ones that just missed the cut. But yeah, I can't remember what your
Lily Gladstone.
Oh yeah, Lily Gladstone moved her to actress. Yeah. But best supporting actress nominees: Emily Blunt, Davine Joy Randolph, Rachel McAdams, Julianne Moore, and Penelope Cruz.
Penelope.
Now we're on to the best director before we get into the actor, actress, and best picture. So best director, we have 6 nominees this year. First nominee we have is Wes Anderson, Asteroid City.
Yes, what a boy.
Martin Scorsese, Killers of the Flower Moon.
What a boy. Christopher
Nolan, Oppenheimer.
Mid.
Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things.
Okay.
Takashi Yamazaki, Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
And Michael Mann,
yes,
Ferrari.
The man.
Our 6 directors. Just missing the cut is Celine Song, and Bradley Cooper, and Sofia Coppola.
I was big on him.
Oh, I think I got all of mine, didn't I? Yeah, cool. Oh no, wait. Oh shit, no.
No, Celine Song is a little.
No Miyazaki, that's sad. Oh no, Paul King, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No
Paul
Celine Song, snubbed.
Yeah, she was the 7th, so she just missed. Now on to best actor of the year. We have 6 nominees. Bradley Cooper, Maestro, made it in.
Fuck this guy.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Take it.
Adam Driver, Ferrari.
That's the boy.
Zac Efron, The Iron Claw. Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer. And Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers.
Oh yeah.
Just missing the cut was Joaquin Phoenix.
No, Matt Damon.
And Matt Damon. Just missing the cut. And Andrew Scott was right on the outside too. And Timothée Chalamet. There's a lot of people tied just on the outside. There's a lot of people close.
I meant to put Jason Schwartzman. Did he get any votes? But I don't even think I put.
Did not, no. But he's great this year. He's great this year.
Yeah, he's so good.
2 categories left. We have actress and then best picture. So best actress of the year. First nominee, Emma Stone, Poor Things. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Sandra Huller, Anatomy of a Fall. Greta Lee, Past Lives. Carey Mulligan, Maestro.
Best thing about the film.
and Kaylee Spaney.
Yeah. Love that one.
Love this
Great
category. I think it's like maybe the most stacked category this year. Just
Where
missing
was
the
Natalie
cut.
Portman put in supporting or acting?
She was in Best Actress. She
Best
just
Actress.
she just missed the cut for Best Actress.
Sad.
So did Margot Robbie. But yeah,
Also
those are kind of
sad,
the
'cause
big
she's
two.
great.
Now on to our final category, the big category, Best Picture of the year. We have 10 nominees, and we have 3 films tied that just missed.
Oh no, Wonka's gonna be that.
Best Picture: Asteroid City,
Yes.
Godzilla -1,
Hell yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon,
Yeah, number 1.
May December,
Yep.
Oppenheimer,
Yep.
Past Lives,
Yep.
Spider-Man Across the
Come on.
Spider-Verse,
Come on.
Oh, this is my top 10.
The Iron Claw,
I put it in just for fun. So
Fair enough. I'll
The
take it.
Holdover,
Oh,
and Wonka is
Yes!
nominated.
yes.
We are all wonking on the ReelTok podcast.
We're
There were
wonking
3
so
films
hard right now.
that just missed out.
Where
And
the
those
fuck is Ferrari?
Yep, that was just on the outside. Ferrari, Poor Things, which is crazy because Poor Things was nominated for, I think, like the most awards.
Yeah,
But it missed Picture. And then John Wick Chapter 4, The Killer. We're just right on the outside looking in. But those are nominees for Best Picture: Asteroid City, Godzilla -1, Killers of the Flower Moon, May December, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Iron Claw, The Holdovers, and Wonka.
Tyler, where's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 falling for you?
I didn't put it in my Best Picture. I was like, I'm giving it
hate
enough love for comic book movie, but it's in my
Hell,
top.
man.
in my
It's
top
your
10 view.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting love in other categories.
Ah, it's awful. That's awful. It's in your top. I knew it was in your top 10. It
I
was
just did my
number
top
2.
10 to be fair.
I
No,
know.
I
did
wanted
my
to
top
switch
10
things
too.
up a bit.
That's awful. No respect. Comic book movies still just absolutely.
Hey, Spider-Man.
You got one on there. You got Spider-Verse.
And I like
Yeah.
Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy way more than
Go ahead.
Spider-Man. So,
sad.
for those keeping track at home or were curious, the nomination count for movies top is Oppenheimer with 10 nominations. Then we have Killers of the Flower Moon with 8. Poor Things getting 7, so it's kind of crazy that didn't manage to make Best Picture with 7 nominations. Asteroid City with 6 nominations.
Yeah.
Godzilla -1 and The Holdovers at 5. And then at 4, we have a tie between Barbie, Ferrari, May December, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Killer, and Wonka. And then obviously 3 2s and 1s for the rest.
Boy in the Heron snubbed.
What's our decision to leave this year? Is that Napoleon? Just I don't. Well, that's not even like
No, because that's not
that
love.
highly
Decision to
rated.
leave is my
Yeah,
love.
It's just you liking.
I think it's the Boy in the Heron in terms of reception. We barely got the Boy in the Heron anything. I would say Boy in the Heron.
Yeah, it got 3. So it got international, got animated, and score. So it got 3. But
I don't
Cam
know
hasn't
if
seen it
we
yet,
have
right?
one. Nope, I haven't seen it. I'll watch it soon because it's definitely somewhere. I'll watch it soon.
It's out.
Yeah, overall, I think these nomination categories are really, really strong. Really excited to see the reaction to these and what the voting starts pouring in.
Protest now. Tyler
Best
rigged.
Picture under protest by Cam because
Tyler rigged.
rigged by me. I mean,
It's the whole award show. Whole award show. Under
I had my
protest.
ballot done before I even got anything from you guys, and Seth obviously wasn't in his top, and mine neither. And a lot of these had 3 votes at least from all of us. But there's a couple things that people need to start trying to see before these award shows. Seth, you got to try and get to the holdovers, and you're going to get to Poor Things.
I won't see holdovers. That's February, bro.
It's
Oh
on,
yeah.
it's on Peacock, so it's. I'll send it. I'll send you a link.
Yeah,
I can't use Peacock.
Yeah, but that means it's everywhere. If it's on a streaming service, it's everywhere. You can find it in HD.
It's everywhere. Wink, wink.
It makes me sad though. I want to watch it on the big screen, man. You know.
Yeah, I did have a good time in the theater. Cam,
Yeah,
the big ones
I'm
for
not
you is like
arguing with
the
you.
Iron Claw. I'm trying to think what other ones.
That's the only one I haven't seen. I'm going to see it today.
The Iron Claw's
Hopefully.
February as well. Great. I'll see Poor Things
That
next
one
week.
I don't know. That one I don't know if you.
I'll see Poor Things next week.
And
I'll
so
see that.
like A24 has tweeted so many things about the Iron Claw being like now in theaters everywhere, and all the replies is like
I've
no,
seen
it's
like
not.
the whole film in like clips and shit already. It's really annoying to be honest.
Really?
I'm
Wow.
definitely forward to that.
I'm sure you.
But yeah, those are our nominations for this year. Phenomenal lineup of awards, 20 categories. Again, voting links are in the description down below. And if you're a patron, you have a special link on the Patreon page. And I'll also put it in the Patreon exclusive Discord as well for you guys to submit your personal ballots. But that's it for this episode. The big thing was the ReelTok Award nominations. And obviously we all talked Ferrari as well. Next week, we're going to do kind of the fun buffer week because we have 2 weeks from now will be our award show. So next week will be kind of like a 2023 wrap up / look to 2024, because the only thing coming out this week is Night Swim and Society of the Snow.
Could just do like a top 15 films of 2023 next week.
Yeah, I was thinking we just, like, to keep it like spicy as opposed to just doing like rankings. I was thinking we could just do like a best act, like an actor draft, an actress draft, and a picture draft, just to get like kind of a lineup of 5 from each. And then we're gonna of course do our most anticipated films of 2024 draft once again, so we can look back at that at the end of the year and see how we did. And then there was this one thing a patron recommended to me. I'll grab his name for the next episode when I announce it, but kind of doing like a fantasy box office. I think like we'll all draft like movies in terms of box office and see at the end of the year, and it'll be like weighted based on like, you know, a $200 million movie making $400 million would be similar to like a $10 million movie making $20 million. But doing like a draft of like box office performances, and we can kind of see who makes the most money, quote unquote, at the end of the year based on what we think will win at the box office. That should be fun. So next week, look forward to a whole like looking back at 2023, but also looking forward to 2024 show, and then ReelTok Awards in 2 weeks from now. A real quick draft on Thursday will be best movie character names of all time. We just recently did best movie titles of all time. Now we'll go best movie character names of all time. And then on Friday, our real quick review is Swiss Army Man from the Daniels, starring Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. Give a shout out to our executive producers. Again, make sure you check out the Patreon in the description down below. Couldn't do anything we're doing right now without all of you guys. But shout out to, 1 second, just got to pull it up. Pause. All right, shout out to Stefan Johnson, Sean Morales, Robert Leo Gislason, Rocco 1.0, Reese David, Casper Lundberg, Josh Hines, Jordan Gagg, Jimmy O'Connor, James Magos, Ferdinando 4, Dylan Chip, Dean Cotamanidis, Dakota Buckner, Connor Connaughton, Alexander Biscardi, and Adam Hudgens. That'll do it for ReelTok episode 68. We will see you on Thursday with our draft, and we will see you next week with a fun little 2023-2024 special. Peace out.